Boy.
Worst call in the history of talk radio I heard this morning. Wanted to jump out the window. Almost did.
Rub it, just rub it.
Hi, how y'all doing? This is your ex-president, Bill Clinton. Yeah, you know, I just went to the movies and I saw that new flick, The Human Stain. I'll tell you, with a title like that, I had high hopes, but I must say, I was disappointed. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, it didn't have nothing to do with a blue dress, interns, cigars, cheating on your wife, or anything a fellow like me can relate to. And what's the deal with making Anthony Hopkins a black guy? I mean, come on, Michael Jackson is blacker than Anthony Hopkins. But I'll tell you, though, I did like Nicole Kidman in this movie. You see, she plays a janitor, and it gets her all kind of sweaty, and then she takes her clothes off, and I want to tell you something. Hey, she can wipe up my human stain any old time. Oh, but other than that, I got to be honest, I can't really recommend The Human Stain, especially not as a date movie. Heck, Hillary wouldn't even go see it with me. For some reason, she was dying to see another film, Kill Bill. Go figure. I'll see y'all later.
They had the pardoning of the turkey, the annual thing they do at the White House, a silly thing because people are silly. They had the pardoning of the turkey with W, and you notice how they both looked like they were speaking the same language?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they seemed like to be bonding really well. Yeah, George is out sick today, and of course I always tell him this, oh no, I'm never sick. He's always sick. Am I right?
You're right.
And not just sick, but always like crawling around on the floor and puking and staggering around. Must be all them drugs. Anyway, we did our demographic survey over the weekend, and why do they do that? Why do they have to dick around with this? I mean, it's not interesting, it's not exciting, it's not a poll per se. It's the NADS, Neil's Annual Demographic Survey, and just like checking in, 1,395 people did. That's probably the whole audience the way things are going now.
Yes.
But it was a pretty good snapshot. And these people that call in, the women, oh, you've got so many women who will listen to your show. No, we don't.
Sure you do.
No, we don't.
Okay.
If you add up the percentage, even if there were 47 phony votes for male under 18 for teenage kids, the real number there is 10. So you think you can sneak them past me, huh? Well, guess what? Can't do it. Can't sneak it past the old fart. The real number there was 10. So that it kind of like jaundiced the other numbers a little bit. So we'll be generous and say that 9% of the audience are women. 91% men, 9% women. Not too hell. See, if we had women listening, we'd have gigantic numbers. We always do well, but we'd have humongous numbers if we had women. But this show is just, it's unacceptable to women. They just, whatever it is.
They detest you.
They hate me like poison. That's right. And you know what? Too bad. Anyway, I'm not going to read the numbers. What the hell difference does it make? 73% of the audience are men 25 to 54.
Oh!
That's what we like to see, right? In fact, 18 to 24 was another 4%. So if you take it was an interesting thing. I liked it. A lot. Anyway, bad news. Somebody I never heard of. Did you ever hear of Kelly Waymire?
Yeah, sure.
What does that mean?
I don't know who that is.
Kelly Waymire, whose frequent appearances on such shows as 6 Feet Under, Friends. Oh, by the way, don't answer the phone, Josh. Well, he's already answering it. Don't answer the phone, Josh. We'll do screenless this week. Isn't he under a lot of stress in there?
That's enough. His pits are sweating.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So just relax. Just sit back, get the spots on, and this week, it's Thanksgiving, it's holidays. We'll just give him a free pass. Right?
Why not?
Kelly Waymire, whose frequent appearances on such shows as 6 Feet Under, Friends, and Ally McBeal made her face familiar to TV fans, has died at age 36.
She died?
Apparently of a previously undetected medical condition. 36, and she's dead. And why I don't understand this, because this just came over the weekend, but she died November 13 at her home in L.A., according to her agent Billy Miller. Didn't disclose what medical condition she had, noting final autopsy results were pending.
She died?
Kelly Waymire is dead. She began her TV career on the soap opera One Life to Live, going on to appear on such shows as Seinfeld, The Practice, Judging Amy, Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Enterprise, The X-Files, NYPD Blue, and CSI Crime Scene Investigation. You ready for that? And you have no idea who that was, even though she was on all those shows?
I'd have to see a picture of her.
Well, she was only 36, and she's dead. So we hate to start, but again, if anybody famous dies, we always start with that. Get it out of the way. Got a story. I'm so glad. I want to thank the guy that called in on Friday, because I'm sure that Lynn Samuels must have been. Thanks, by the way, Lynn. She must have been listening to the show religiously like she does every day, and she heard about that story on Newsmax.com. And I would never look on Newsmax.com for bedtime stories or anything else unless I was like suicidal, because it's a right-wing piece of crap website. But I called in about it, and I okay, whatever you say, it sounded interesting. And then I noticed that Lynn picked it up and put it on her website. So I printed the thing out, and it is, to say disconcerting would be the understatement of the century, even though it doesn't have anything to do with Michael Jackson. We'll get to that, believe me. When we get to that? Yes. General Franks doubts Constitution will survive WMD attack. General Tommy Franks says that if the United States is hit with a weapon of mass destruction that inflicts large casualties, the Constitution will likely be discarded in favor of a military form of government.
Oi!
You ready for that? I think I should read that sentence again.
One more time.
If the U.S. is hit with weapons of mass destruction that inflicts large casualties, the Constitution will likely be discarded in favor of a military form of government, says Tommy Franks. A relation to Barney Frank. Or Bubba Franks. Franks, who successfully led the U.S. military operation to liberate Iraq, expressed his worries in an extensive interview he gave to the men's lifestyle magazine, Cigar Aficionado. We've seen that around all the time. Remember when we used to hang out with our cigar friends?
Yep.
Back in the days when they liked us. The women used to like us. The cigar people used to like us. A lot of people used to like me, but that's ancient history. You know what? Too bad. The checks are still coming in. In the magazine's December edition, the former commander of the Military Central Command warned that if terrorists succeeded in using a weapon of mass destruction against the U.S. or one of our allies, it would likely have catastrophic consequences for our cherished Republican form of government. So in other words, if they drop una bomba on Britain, for example, well, that'll be a good excuse. Let's have martial law. I mean, what does that mean? Discussing the hypothetical dangers posed to the U.S. in the wake of September 11th, Frank said that the worst thing that could happen is if terrorists acquire and then use a biological, chemical, or nuclear weapon that inflicts heavy casualties. If that happens, Frank said, the Western world, the free world, loses what it cherishes most, and that is freedom and liberty that we've seen for a couple of hundred years in this grand experiment that we call democracy. Franks then offered in a practical sense what he thinks would happen in the aftermath of such an attack. It means that the potential of a weapon of mass destruction and a terrorist massive casualty-producing event somewhere in the Western world, it may be in the United States of America, that causes our population to question our own Constitution and to begin to militarize our country in order to avoid a repeat of another mass casualty-producing event, which in fact then begins to unravel the fabric of our Constitution. 2 steps very, very important. Franks didn't speculate about how soon such an event might take place. Already critics of the U.S. Patriot Act rushed through Congress in the wake of 9/11 attacks have argued that the law aims to curtail civil liberties and sets a dangerous precedent.
Absolutely correct, sir.
We've got a dangerous president who is setting dangerous precedents. But Frank's scenario goes much further. He's the first high-ranking official to openly speculate that the Constitution could be scrapped in favor of a military form of government. The usually camera-shy Franks retired from U.S. Central Command, known as the in Pentagon lingo as CENTCOM, in August 2003, after serving nearly 4 decades in the Army. He also said that within 2 hours of the attacks on 9/11, he was given orders to prepare to root out the Taliban in Afghanistan and to capture bin Laden. Within 2 hours of the attacks. Does that set the wheels in your head grinding a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Within 2 hours of the attacks, he was given orders to prepare to root out the Taliban in Afghanistan, who up until that moment were our good buddies. They were preparing to have that good oil pipeline deal through Afghanistan, and to capture bin Laden. Even though 15 of the 19 suicide hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. Well, I just mentioned that in passing. I'm saving this. So thanks to the guy who called in on Friday, I never would have seen this article. And, of course, a lot of people are probably saying, why did you read that, you miserable bastard, you? Because now everybody's going to be crapping in their pants. Everybody's going to be getting really, really nervous. Well, based on that, we ought to be a little bit nervous, shouldn't we?
Yes.
I think so. Ought to be real nervous. Okay, I'm taking this poll today, and I'm inspired by this obnoxious, at least it's obnoxious to me, article about black show business pals rally around Michael Jackson, Hollywood silent, other than, of course, the notorious world's biggest fag hag, Liz Taylor. Oh, Michael didn't do it. He didn't do it. Right. She knows he didn't do it. Maybe she's sleeping with him. You think?
He was there.
Who the hell else would sleep with that bitch at this point? Anybody, any volunteers to sleep with Liz?
No.
No. Even Clarence wouldn't sleep with Liz Taylor. That's how bad she's looking.
Well,
Well, like I said, He might, like, curl up on the end of the bed. Maybe lick her toes or something. Which of the... Not a disgusting thought. I bet there's more toe jam in there. Now, she's the only one, but it's a racial thing. Why is it that everything in America turns into a goddamn racial thing? Every time, and he's not even black. He's not even close to being black. He's bleached white. He's not just white. He's like if we jumped into a bathtub full of Clorox. That's how white he is. And yet, all of a sudden, it's a racial thing. Just like Jermaine said there on Friday, or whatever the hell day. Was it Thursday? Whatever the day the SUV chase was going on. Right. This is a modern-day lynching. Mm-hmm. Then King last night, now there had to be an old interview with LaToya. They didn't put on the screen when the hell it was from, which pisses me off. Now she says that all the stuff that she said back in Italy that time, it was in 94, after the first allegations in 93, about how he was doing all these things with little boys, and she knew about it. It was disgusting, and she was coerced into reading it. It was all scripted for her. Right.
They made her read it, right.
They made her read it. Because she was under the thumb of that scumbag there in Vegas. You remember those days. And so she was forced to read all of these things. Anyway, here's today's poll. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? I don't have any idea who I'm going to vote for. And maybe there's some others we deserve to put on there. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, O.J. Simpson, Michael Jackson, or Louis Farrakhan. Isn't that a good list?
Sounds good to me.
Oh, I got another one. Oh, in fact, this is what inspired me to take the poll. I'm channel surfing before football yesterday, and of course, my luck would have it there. I saw Danny Boy on CBS. I thought, okay, I'll stop and watch Danny Boy for a second. He never stole a freight train. They want you back, by the way, Danny. Without Jimmy, they just want Danny. At any rate, and then, of course, there was Dion. Did you see any of that? He put on the worst Stepin Fetchit show. I don't know what. They must have had a feather up his ass or whatever. I have never seen anything. Stepin Fetchit and Amos and Andy would have been embarrassed by his behavior yesterday. I thought, this man, I have no idea why the NAACP and every black organization, instead of worrying about defending Michael Jackson, why they aren't protesting this jerk to be on the air. Seriously, all he's got to do is drive up in a yellow Seville, the Pimpmobile. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, O.J. Simpson, Michael Jackson, Louis Farrakhan, or Neon Deion Sanders, baby. He makes me barf. God! You know what I'm talking about?
He's a superstar.
He's an asshole is what he is. He's a jive-ass piece of crap, and believe you me, if I was black, I would be screaming. I'd be calling CBS right now saying, you get that jerk off the air, I'm going to, sue your ass. I'm going to make the CBSI really cry, make all that Reagan business pale into insignificance, you idiots, you. God, he sucks. 10:13 he sucks too.
And in Istanbul.
And he really sucks. 10:13 at 560 WQM, if you're looking for a really neat place to eat, something different. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, try Vic and Irv's. Vic and Irv's way back in 1934 opened in Rochester, New York, my hometown, right across the lake from where my ass is sitting right now. Vic and Irv's is in South Florida now. That's the good news for you folks on Federal Highway, just south of Broward Boulevard and the tunnel on the east side. Vic and Irv's is a flashback in time to what great restaurants used to be before the fast food crap that so many people are chomping on today. Go and enjoy a real burger or hot dog served hot, fresh, and fast the way you like it. Vic and Irv's is being brought to you in Fort Lauderdale by the very same guys who feed you Cheeseburger, and they use the same fresh 100% ground chuck meat as Cheeseburger. You will love their meat, man. They offer an incredible quarter-pound hot dog that'll really fill up your puss. And what makes them different from anybody else in town is that all their burgers and dogs are served with Vic's signature meat sauce on top. I think they grind it with their toes, giving you a combination of flavors that'll do a real Kazatsky in your mouth. And if you want to try something early in the day, try their great breakfast menu. Omelets cooked to order, French toast, pancakes, all your favorite side dishes waiting for you, too. So see what all the talk is about at Vic and Irv's. You don't have to be from Rochester, even from Irondequoit, to enjoy it, or Leroy, or Batavia, or Depew. Vic and Irv's on Federal Highway just south of Broward Boulevard on the tunnel on the east side. And be sure and tell them that old Neil sent you by to Vic and Irv's.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAQAM.
Today I'd like to read a letter that I'm writing to all white people today in the spirit of unity and understanding. Dear white folk, couple of things you ought to know. When I'm born, I'm black. When I grow up, I'm black. When I get sick, I'm black. When I go out in the sun, I'm black. When I go out in the cold, I'm black. When I get scared, I'm black. And when I die, I'm still black. But you, my white man, when you're born, you are pink. When you grow up, you are white. When you get sick, you are green. When you go out in the sun, you go red. And when you get cold, you turn blue. When you get scared, you turn yellow. And the happiest time of my life is when white people die, you turn purple. And you got the damn nerve to call me colored.
10-19 at 560. Good old Louis Farrakhan. He's leading the early vote. 69 votes. He's got 22. I'm the only one voted for Deion Sanders yet. And you know something? I'm proud. No, seriously. When I see him, very ugly, racist feelings well up inside of my brain. I can't stand him.
You don't like his suits?
His pimp suits and his whole attitude, he's just an ass. He's a jive-ass asshole. And what bothers me even more is I know that the beer-guzzling assholes who sit around watching football all day on Sunday, I'm talking about the sports nerd types, they think he's really cool. Ah, there's Deion, man! You know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
He's obnoxious. There is nothing about it. In fact, well, I don't want to get into it. I just get too, we got it spelled wrong on there, by the way, Eric, but don't worry about it. I think it's appropriate. Speaking of obnoxious people, red is still OJ's favorite color, says this week's Inquirer. And man, there's a whole lot of us would like to see him sitting in a pool of red, his own. Bloody Marys, anyone? Disgraced football great O.J. Simpson, whose ex-wife was stabbed to death nearly 10 years ago, has an ironic taste in cocktails. He was snapped leaving Miami's swanky Mutiny Hotel holding a drink that definitely wasn't O.J., and there's the picture to the left. Simpson, who's vowed to hunt down his ex-wife's killer, spends a lot of time hanging out at the hotel pool. He likes to drink Bloody Marys, and he's real nice and respectful, says a hotel staffer. Right. He's a nice murderer as opposed to like a miserable scumbag, like a lunatic. He's a nice murderer like Ted Bundy, remember? Mm-hmm. He was a nice guy.
Nice gentleman.
Very well spoken, defended himself in court, very articulate, very well educated. So here's a nice murderer for you, O.J. In fact, even the picture, if you look at this, if you have the Inquirer, anybody, and you should get it, he's got that look. He looks like a murderer. Do you know what I mean?
He's got that look.
No, seriously. If you saw the picture, you would say, oh, man, there's a murdering son of a bitch. And then, of course, Screwan and Phyllis would come around and they're the water Nazi.
Oh, don't be picking on O.J. We love O.J. at QAM. In fact, he's coming to our golf tournament.
Maybe he'd come to Moe's funeral. What do you think?
Absolutely.
That would be good. And what do you say about a man, a silly old man in a checkered pant, who comes to do the game last night right down the street there and then can't get his ass up out of bed this morning to come to work because the game was a late game on Sunday night? What a piece of crap.
Absolutely.
Huh? What a lazy ass you are, Mo. Not to mention all the other business. Oh, I'll get to that stuff, by the way. I got the smoking gun in print now. I got it on paper. Louis Farrakhan, 25. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? Louis Farrakhan, 25. Jesse Jackson, 24. And Al Sharpton, 17. O.J., you got 10, sweetheart. Neon Dion's got 5. And Michael Jackson only 4 because he ain't black. He's not black. How can it be a racial thing? He's not black. Maybe some of these people want to rip George an ass. I'd love to hear that today, you know. Ordinarily, it gets a little ponderous. But he's sick so goddamn much. And I sit here this morning for an hour. Nobody tells me anything. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to the, and as much as I love Joe Rose.
You're in a need-to-know basis, man.
What?
You're in a need-to-know basis.
Well, it would be nice. I could have gone back to bed and slept another hour. Who the hell needed to sit here watching TV and listening to the stupid sports calls? That guy that called up Joe, I think it was Joe, not Geldy. It was Joe.
It was Joe.
Luckman, Koufax, and Jay Fiedler. See, that shows you what a bunch of phonies are in South Florida. Jay Fiedler, they were ready to lynch his ass, as we all know, you know. Oh, and then after the San Diego game, Brian Greasy, he the man, you the man, Brian. He's the savior. He's going to lead us out of the darkness into the Super Bowl. We're talking Super Bowl, you know. And then, of course, come to find out he sucks. And Jay Fiedler comes in against the little girls' team whose starting quarterback was injured in the first half, by the way. Otherwise, it would have been a total blowout. And comes in here late and plays one quarter. And generally speaking, it was Ricky Williams that saved their ass in that fourth quarter, really.
Playing Superman.
Right. Like he put on his cape. He put his cape on. He attached it to his dreadlocks, and he flew right over the line there to go into the end zone for the winning touchdown. It was an exciting game. And, of course, there was the Patriots game. I just mentioned that in passing. Nice going, Tommy, baby. All right. That was exciting. Adam Vinatieri, usually very reliable, hits the post. Thought he was playing hockey. Hit the post on one field goal, and then they get it blocked there. And I thought, oh, boy, this don't look too good. And they still pulled it out. It's always an exciting Sunday for me when Tommy Brady pulls it out. Nice going, boys. 9-2, 7 in a row. But what a phony bunch of crap. All of a sudden now it's, so anyway, this guy, the implication of his phone call about Sid Luckman and Sandy Koufax and now Jay Fiedler, as if to put him in that category because they won a game. The same guy that they're ready to lynch, they won a game against the little girls team, like coached by an idiot. By the way, nice timeout, Steve. Nice timeout. Steve Spurrier, he's another one. He's a white Deion Sanders. Without the
nice suits. Yeah.
Without the nice suits, that's right. He's a sloppy white Deion Sanders. 106 votes, Deion's got 5, so there are 4 people out there agree with me, thank goodness. Not that I really care. Jackson's explicit letter seized, we'll get to that. But this story about black show business pals, it's a racial thing. I'm sorry. That's where I draw the line. Like Johnny Cash would say if he still could. WQAM.
Morning, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, I don't know if you can add her or not, but Oliphant would probably be a good candidate to add to that list.
Yeah, but she's small potatoes, though, isn't she? Plus
yeah,
she's
actually
out.
on the local level.
Plus she's
right.
out.
Yeah,
She was just a dumb bitch.
She's hanging out with Elegant now, the other commissioner that was ripping off us taxpayers and putting his personal stuff on a county credit card.
Right. Well, that's a good pair.
Yeah.
Birds of a feather, man.
Excellent. All right, man. Good luck.
Have a great day. We'll need it.
You too.
Thank you. Yeah, good luck to us. It's the holidays now, although the snowbirds, Duff was telling me the snowbirds are coming down now.
Oh,
early. Everybody with a brain, even Miguel's bailing out of there tomorrow. So, George, you better be back to work tomorrow or else we're not going to have no show tomorrow because if it's just me and Josh is sitting there peeing in his pants, and rightfully so. Well, I understand. He's in training. He's training for like 5 minutes in there. Nice going, George. Give him a training bra to wear. I mean, we've been through more people in that room. It's just that we had Beaner Boy, which George found under an overpass somewhere. And then, of course, we had Spastic Scott Jr., the one of, what was the guy that used to make like Jim Carrey, I guess. There used to be an older one, but Jim Carrey's more contemporary. That does all the facial things. You see where I'm going with that? All the strange faces. That was Scott Jr., who's a couple of bricks short of a half a load. So we've been through it, man. And, of course, we got the Pharrell business. This station going through another rocky road, man. I do like rocky road, but generally in a tub of Baskin-Robbins. We're going through a real rocky road. Hey, if you like too much rocky road, here's the answer for your dieting. They had a thing last night on dieting on CNN. And after the football game, I watched that thing till midnight. And what a moron I am. Did I learn anything? No, it sucked. And they're telling you to eat a high-carbohydrate, low-fat diet. That's the most successful. And I thought to myself, you people at CNN are certainly a bunch of assholes. And they said,
absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, if you've tried all the others and you haven't lost an ounce, or if you have lost it but gained it back and then some, you're frustrated. The reason Balance for Life is so easy is because you're not starving. There's plenty of food to keep you satisfied. You don't have to count any calories or carbs. They do all of that for you. It's as simple as can be for simple fat people. They deliver your black sack right to your door by 6 o'clock in the morning every day. 3 gourmet meals, 2 delicious snacks, and, believe you me, there's plenty of great delicious stuff in there to keep you full all day long, which is the key to the whole deal. You won't be cheating in between. 5 feedings. You can go to the trough 5 times a day, 5 feedings every day. In fact, Balance for Life is the only company that allows you to pick between 2 choices for each meal and snack every day that you're on a program. You fill out a menu, that's it. They do all the rest for you, deliver it right to your door. So if you've tried everything else under the sun, including all the diets they talked about last night on CNN, and you're still fat, out of shape, if you're still lethargic, wearing pup tents for clothing, if you have diabetes, you're close to it, why not try Balance for Life? You got nothing to lose except that dangerous fat. 954-568-3229 is the number to call. Do it now. Start losing weight and seeing results on the scale in just a matter of days. 954-568-3229 or visit them on the web at balanceforlife.com.
Live and local. This is 560. The radio's all yours now. QAM.
Secretly wiggling in the wick of Reverend J.
You gonna give me something to eat?
Apparently Jesse liked to play.
You just gonna give it and not feed me?
He's a bigger hound than Richard Bay.
I'm a woman. I got needs.
Now all the say.
It's all public now.
Jesse's got a love child, yeah.
You put the baby in me, Jesse.
Will divorce papers be filed, yeah.
And you play, you pay.
Likes it spicy, not mild, yeah. He's in trouble, it would seem, yeah.
You in trouble now, Jesse.
A big part of Clinton's team, yeah.
You gonna buy me a necklace or something?
This was not MLK's dream.
Ooh, damn, I'm hungry, Jesse.
Hanging round the Oval Office with his hoochie girl.
I mean, for two now, Reggie.
Expensive suit and brand new Jerry curl.
Ooh, baby, you getting a little bit fat.
In the limo, he gave her a whirl.
You be touching me without feeding me.
It makes you wanna hurl.
Better give me something to eat.
Jesse's got a love child, yeah.
Got to buy the baby some shoes.
Will divorce papers be filed,
He be
yeah.
running around in them raggy shoes.
He likes it spicy, not mild,
I'm gonna
yeah.
need some more money.
He's in trouble, it would seem,
Come on now.
yeah.
Give me some of that Reverend money.
A big part of Clinton's team,
Come on, Jesse.
yeah.
Give me a little something, something.
Leading with his balance beam, yeah.
More like a toothpick.
This was not MLK's dream.
I'm hungry, baby.
Nothing like that Reverend money. You know, that's some of the best kind, that tax-free Reverend money. 141 votes. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? Louis Farrakhan, 51. Jesse Jackson, the just aforementioned, 36. Al Sharpton, 25. OJ, you got 16, OJ. Deion Sanders, 9, and Michael Jackson's only got 4 because, like I said, he ain't black. 10:45, 12 minutes from now, the sentencing decision on John Allen Mohammed. Don't you think that's a racial thing?
Of course.
And hopefully they're going to, fry his ass. They're going to give him, the needle, and then that'll be a racial thing. And then, of course, like that Lee Boyd Malvo, that punk, that kid, that'll certainly be a racial thing, even though he said, did you hear some of his comments that he was chuckling and laughing as he was killing these people? He thought it was a hoot. Like that. But that must be because he was brainwashed, and it's a racial thing. I'm saturated. I can't take no more of that. No, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
No more. I just can't handle it.
By the way, your little name website, that sucks.
My name website? Yeah.
To change your name, because every time, if you put in your name again.
See, the audience doesn't know what you're talking about, Miguel, because we did that off the air before the show, so they have no idea. What is he talking about? Neil's got a name website? No, where did I find that? What was I looking for? Oh, I was looking under Louis Farrakhan because I was checking for the spelling.
Oh, okay.
And what is the name of that website?
FadeToBlack.com.
FadeToBlack.com. And then / what is it?
Name generator.
/ name generator. And then you can put in a name, and then it translates it to some allegedly
Your African name.
African name, which is.
Well, mine is now Huggy Bear. It changes every time you put in your name.
Right. It's a joke. See, if you look on top, you see that it's a comedy thing. It's a joke.
Right.
But nevertheless, it'll kill some good time. Anyway, sentencing is coming up in 10 minutes for John Allen Mohammed. I sure hope it's not a racial thing. I hope that when the jury announces their verdict, their decision on what they're going to do with him, either put him in the pine box or in the cell block, they make clear it's not a racial thing, because otherwise people get upset. Here's some shocking news. I better take this call first. WQAM.
Yes, I have somebody for the poll.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, well, Johnny Cochran, but don't I get to talk to Neil?
You're talking to him.
Oh, hi, Neil. How are you?
Good. We're doing Screamless because we're training Josh to do a thing in there. He's peeing in his pants and sweating a lot.
Great. So that was a fun game last night. Their colors were a little off, but,
They looked like the Hurricanes a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, but my TV might have been a little off color, and I kind of thought that Brian Greasy was back in Denver.
Yeah, now that you mention it, you're right. In
Yeah.
fact, I think a lot of people are wishing he would be.
By the way, I just thought I'd mention this. Thank you for reminding me about OJ. He lives about a mile and a half from me. Thank you very much.
Oi!
Don't get too close, man.
My wife says of all the zip codes in the United States, he had to pick ours.
Exactly. Well, all the crap eventually winds up in South Florida.
Neil, check it out. One more thing, okay? You shouldn't berate certain people for not coming to work. That encourages them to come to work. I don't want to mention any names, Mo.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Have a great day, Pally.
You too.
Good thinking. Yeah, stay the hell away, Mo. In fact, the audience is praying you'd stay out a few more days. recuperate. Plus, he's got that big game in Dallas on Thursday, right?
4 days rest.
So let's see. Listen. Well, of course, Thursday's Thanksgiving Day anyway, so that's good that he has to work on Thanksgiving Day.
Absolutely.
Which I am too, but only 2 hours thanks to his ball game. And then Friday, Friday it says here he's on. Is that correct? I don't see why he wouldn't be on, because the game is over by like about 4 o'clock, and it's in Dallas. It's only a couple-hour flight to get back, so he's got no excuses not to be working on Friday. Now, George, assuming he's recuperated from his puking bout, whatever he's sick with, from his drug-induced illness again, he'll be working Friday, and I'm working on Thursday. Nice pick, Neil. Thank you. Because at the time I did that, I had no idea that we had the ball game. Anyway, can I get to the shocking news?
Please.
We put Johnny Cochran on the poll. Now, are you faxing these to Eric? How are we doing this, or is he listening? Because I noticed he got Neon Dion on there right away.
Right. Well, he happened to hear that one.
Right. 8 minutes away from the sentencing decision on John Lee, Boyd Allen Mohammed. Senator John Kerry is facing a backyard beating at the hands of presidential primary nemesis Howard Dean, losing his own state by a staggering 9 points in a new poll just released today in the Boston Herald. Dean, who already stole the primary leads from a faltering Kerry in New Hampshire and Iowa, would pummel, it says here in the Boston Herald, pummel the hometown senator 33 to 24% if the voting were held today. How do you like that? John Kerry is kind of scary. I think a lot of people figure that his face ought to be on Mount Rushmore because it's real craggy, but other than that, forget about it. Worse for Kerry, Dean leads here by riding the longtime senator's supposed core base, liberals, Democrats, and older voters. The fact that he can come into Massachusetts, Kerry's home state, where Democrats are so familiar with the senator, and still have a 9-point lead, a big, juicy 9-point lead, really speaks to the strength of the Dean campaign, his own core. I noticed Grieper wasn't on this morning either, is what Geldy was saying. What's that all about?
Well, he worked the game.
Oh, gee, they worked the game last night, so he couldn't come in and work this morning because he was up late till midnight. He had to work the game. Oh, brother. What kind of a bunch of pussies we got working there in that morning show, man.
Absolutely.
No wonder Geldy's so psychotic. You should have heard him wailing to me that when I was there that last day, that Friday, he was wailing in the hallway. He was just almost in tears. Anyway, I'm just passing that along.
Okay.
I don't want to stir the pot or anything. I mean, it's one thing to smoke it, it's nothing. Oh, and this fax that you forwarded to me, this is a good point. See, I like Eddie Kay a lot personally. Ed Kaplan, his show is just abysmal, but he's a good guy. And unfortunately, when you're on at that hour of the night, see, back it used to be at night, like when I used to work till midnight, we had a lot of chronic callers, but some different callers. And it was back in those days I decided chronic callers are the death knell of talk radio and did everything I could to discourage them and get rid of them. But Carl called this show either Thursday or Friday. Now, you were working, you remember?
Yeah.
He's got a very distinctive voice. He's not a bad guy, but he is annoying. And he calls, and he calls. He's even worse than Juan from Miami, if that's possible. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Worse. Because somebody says, now we're not going to put him on the poll because nobody knows who that is. But Carl, the guy who calls that Kaplan show, that's a very excellent point, whoever the hell faxed that in. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We're not, let me say it again, we're not putting him on there. I have to clarify that because a lot of times we just mention somebody and all of a sudden Eric is so gung-ho to, be on top of things, he puts it on. But don't put it on the poll, Eric. 66 for Farrakhan, 44 for Jesse with his love child, Jesse Jackson. Al Sharpton has 28. OJ's got 16. He's kind of stuck there on 16. Wasn't that Jim Plunkett's number 16? Why did that come to mind? Oh, I got a great story to tell you about how I don't have Alzheimer's. Don't let me forget about
it.
Yeah. I'm serious. Deion Sanders, 12. 12, a dozen for Deion.
Oh!
And his Pipmobile and his yellow Cadillac Seville.
Oh!
Man, he just, No, really. Everything that I despise about life in general, he's just the epitome of it. Even forgetting about race. I don't care whether he's black or purple. He's just a scummy guy. Michael Jackson, 4, and Johnny Cochran just went on there of 181 votes. 181 votes. Pretty heavy duty considering we got nobody listening. Everybody's out of town. Miguel's leaving tomorrow to go to his in-laws in Punxsutawney to see the groundhog stick its head out. George may be back tomorrow if he's not. We notice we haven't had anybody rip George yet.
Well, you've only taken 2 calls.
I know. Well, that's why I'm trying to be kind, aren't I?
No.
I hope they do rip him an ass. I'm tired of his being sick all the time. Not that I can do anything about it, although maybe Mo would like to do something about it.
Absolutely.
Maybe Mo would like to get George fired again, wouldn't you, Mo, huh?
Absolutely.
You scumbag, you backstabbing weasel, you, man. No wonder he's got a weasel on his head. You know what I'm saying? Birds of a feather flock together. Everybody in that building, even the people that like, see, this is really an indictment. Even the people who like OJ, which I don't want to mention their names again, hate Mo. Does that tell you all you need to know about Mo?
Absolutely.
Hey, listen, if your mattress is bumpy, your back will tell you. If your mattress is worn out, when you get up in the morning, your back will be aching, you're not getting a good night's sleep, you'll be tossing and turning like Bobby Lewis all night. Here's the answer for you. Get you a great night's sleep like Miguel is doing and I'm doing and Boca Brian and Fat Boy and George. And Pharrell would have done it too if he'd have stuck around another week or two. Get you a mattress from Dollar Mattress by making one easy call, 1-800-MATTRESS. In fact, Pharrell passed a message along. He said he didn't really care about getting candy. Wished he could have got the mattress, though, before it happened. Isn't that what he said?
That's what I heard.
Something like that. Anyway, when you call Dollar Mattress, what a deal. They got the top names in the business, now even including Stearns and Bananas Foster, at unbeatable everyday discount prices. No games, no bait and switch, no phony promises. They deliver. And we'll talk about delivery. You pick the 2-hour window 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m., and they show up whenever you want, like between noon and 2, 1 and 3, 2:30 and 4:30, etc. Honest sales prices, practices, fantastic service, unbeatable everyday low prices, same-day delivery, and don't forget free setup and removal of the crappy old bedding. And it's easy to see why Dollar Mattress is the only intelligent way to get you a new mattress and a great night's sleep for years to come. So if you want to waste your money, be my guest. Go to your bedding or department store and just throw money away and help pay for their big overhead. If you want a great deal, just pick up that phone right now and call them toll-free. 1-800-MATTRESS. 1-800-MATTRESS, or check them online at mattress.com.
We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The 2-hour blowjob.
Well, all right.
Must be the money, Dion, right?
Absolutely.
I figure we'll play this in the background. We'll wait for this decision on John Allen Mohammed.
No one has been sentenced, much less executed under that law, so there is, there may be grounds for appeal there. The other theory,
200 votes on a poll.
Virginia has
Louis Farrakhan's got,
method.
shut up there, Tobin. Farrakhan 81, Jesse Jackson 50, Al Sharpton 31. OJ's got 20. You got 20, OJ. I'd like to give it 20 to 30. Deion Sanders 14. He makes my skin crawl. Michael Jackson 4, and Johnny's Cochran don't have any yet.
Using the car, the automobile, that was the weapon. As you recall, there was a sniper's nest built into the trunk, and the judge said that is a weapon as much as the gun was a weapon. That is something that might be challenged on appeal as well.
Let's talk about the history of Virginia.
Let's not. It's 10:47. They were saying they lied to us on CNN. How do you like that? Isn't that a first that they lied?
Absolutely.
Miguel's got a van hit. Are you going to be there, or Josh, or who was it, Clarence? Who's going to be doing the van hit?
That'd be me.
What?
Me.
Oh, you. Not the Doreen the Queen? Although I understand that if you spin Doreen, give her an airplane spin, you might win some prizes. Look for the QM van today. I mean, giving her an airplane spin. You talk about feeling the earth move under your feet. 5 to 7 this afternoon at the Publix at 401 East Sheridan Street in Dania Beach. Spin the deal for our usual very low-budget QM prizes. And, most importantly, pick up your best deal merchandise, which our new total is...
41,311.
No, that's from last week.
Yeah, I know. I don't have to. A little busy.
And he asked them very specifically.
We're waiting, man. This song has got another minute and 18 seconds to go.
Set that aside.
Boy, this is pathetic.
Yeah, surely. Once
sentence to be read shortly. In other words, within our lifetime, unless you croak real soon.
The jurors there find out who, if anyone, knew.
Jesus.
Where'd you find it?
Where did I find what?
This song.
Oh, it's in the DCS. We've had this in there
really?
forever. I've been a big Dion fan for years. Not, although I never, I never liked him for whatever reason, because he was just such a jive-ass hotshot, I didn't like his attitude. But when he started doing this pimp thing on CBS, at that point, I'm sorry, Oh, here we go. Wait a moment.
Because the prosecution has already arrested and the defense has started its case today, right?
They are moving quickly in the Malvo case, and that's how prosecutors like.
They're still not doing it. They're just stalling for time. Don't let the money change you, Dion. You're still a piece of crap.
Patty, can you hear me?
Hey, Patty.
Patty Davis.
Patty Davis.
Hi, Carol.
Patty
All right.
Duke.
We heard that the judge... I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. We heard the judge just called the jury back into the courtroom. Can you tell us what that means? Well, they're about to read that verdict. The judge called them back in. They said they had reached the verdict. Muhammad, we are told, is in the courtroom along with his lawyers, with the prosecutors. The judge has instructed the people in the courtroom that there can be no demonstration of any kind once this verdict comes down. He doesn't want any cheering. He doesn't want any loud sobbing. He just wants this court to remain very professional.
How's that? Would that be
John
bad?
Muhammad is soon to hear his fate. His
See, with
fate
me,
has
it's
been
not
in
a
the hands
racial
of
thing.
that
It's like
jury.
a murderer thing. Just like Ted Bundy, he was white. John Wayne Gacy, when he was convicted, any of the gay activists come out and say, "Oh, it's an anti-gay thing." I don't think so. No.
On those 2 counts of capital murder, exactly what their decision is, will he be allowed to live life without parole in prison, or they will be sentenced and
dead.
die?
Is that correct? And we want his ass dead?
That is correct.
Right. How about Josh? Do you want his ass dead?
Hello.
I'm sorry. He's busy. He's busy cleaning out his armpits.
He's talking to Tommy right now.
Oh, he's talking to Tommy? Well, I bet you Tommy wants his ass dead.
Has testified, has gone on the stand, talked about their brother, identified him. They also have had people, police officers, identifying the murdered victim
oh, man,
at
I'm telling
the
you,
murder
they're so
scene.
desperate,
And a lot of
stalling
people
for
have been in
time.
court saying that they saw that blue Chevy Caprice, that these 2 men, John Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo, were
let us know when you get something, okay, bitch? Here's a fax from Brad I think in Boca, somewhere in Palm Beach, who says, "Love the show. For today's poll, the entire Martin Luther King Jr. family, they're a disservice to his legacy. They do a disservice to his legacy by leading with their hand out and championing issues of race where there is none." Well, we can't put that on there because it's like, it's not specific enough, but it's a good point, and I second your emotion. Here we go.
Jeffrey?
Yes.
Decision shortly.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You know what this reminds me of? Not, of course, at the same level, but the Thursday afternoon, the whole Michael Jackson. Oh, here comes the Learjet, and Michael's probably in that plane, and then, of course, a bunch of goofballs come out of there. Well, maybe he's in this one. They're sticking their nose inside the hangar there.
And among crime victims' families.
In fact, Michael, when he goes to bed at night, he hangs his nose on a hanger. And Joan Crawford warned him, no more wire hangers, Michael. That's what Liz Taylor keeps reminding him. No more wire hangers. Oh, so speaking of my Alzheimer's that I don't have while I'm stalling for time until I get this thing in?
Yeah.
So,
decisions. Let's go to Patty Davis now. Patty, what are you hearing? Well, we have just learned that that jury has returned a verdict of death for that terrorism count being intimidation of the public. John Muhammad has received the death penalty on count 1, and that is death for terrorizing the public. Of course, he is convicted of another murder count as well. That is
let's kill
capital
him
murder
twice then. What do you say, huh?
for taking part in 1 murder in more than 3 years. We are waiting to hear the verdict on that portion at this time. Carol?
Thank you, Patty. You keep listening. Jeffrey, what happens now after they've made all of their decisions?
Fry his ass. That's what happens now. How do you like that? See, justice. We didn't even have to go to Don Corleone for this one. They're going to put his ass to death, and this should send a good message out to all you people who want to, be scumbags that have no respect for human life. We're going to kill your ass. I think they should televise it, don't you?
Yes.
That would be a good idea. Get a 90 share easy. Now, this is going to be lethal injection, I guess. We don't do any of the other stuff, right? I was asking George about that last week, about the gas chamber. We don't do that no more.
I don't believe so, no.
I know we don't do the electric chair no more, which is too bad. Because remember that one execution years ago? They made a movie about it, and it was like the electric chair was like a little creaky and leaky, and it didn't work too well, and I had to keep... oh, geez, that was bad. What was that movie? There was a movie about that.
I don't know.
But at any rate, and of course that was kind of like a lynching, but the point being that I wish they could bring that chair back and stick his ass in there, and then put Lee Boyd Malvo in his lap, since the two of them were so tight anyway. Put him in his lap.
2 for 1.
Do a little lap dance. And fry their ass both together. Oh! So there you go, the death penalty for John Allen Mohammed, and the other trial is proceeding post-haste rapidly. Now, let's get to the important stuff. Explicit letters and poems said to have been written by Michael Jackson to his alleged victim will form the centerpiece of the sex abuse case against him. Police seized at least a dozen letters during the raid on Jackson's Neverland Ranch last week. Remember they did that thing with a search warrant? We all wondered what the hell they're looking for in there?
Right, with the
besides little boys' underpants.
Mm-hmm.
The district attorney is convinced these letters will be crucial to the case against Jackson. A source close to the investigation said yesterday. The boy told investigators about letters and poems and their precise location inside Michael's home. These letters were among the evidence seized along with videotapes. They're very explicit and intimate and show a degree of familiarity. Basically, they appear to be love letters from Michael to the boy. Aw. Isn't that touching? Don't you almost want to shed a tear when you hear that? The accuser, 12-year-old Los Angeles cancer victim Gavin Arvizo, who was in that British interview that we saw on TV, also told police Jackson's pet name for him was Rubba. Here comes the part that is really just want to make you puke, okay? His nickname was Rubba.
From watching Sesame Street.
The boy told this first to his therapist, then repeated it to police, the source said. He said Jackson called him Rubba because one of the games they used to play was called Rubba Rubba.
Just rub it? Just rub it?
The boy said Michael told me he was my Rubba Rubba friend.
Just rub it? Just rub it?
Although police handling the case in Santa Barbara, California, have been barred from revealing any details, it's understood the alleged abuse also took place in February. They were playing Rubba Rubba. And then you know what they do.
You just pound it silly, and then whatever comes out, you eat it.
Oh, no. Jackson is said to have befriended Gavin, who during a controversial British documentary screened earlier this year admitted having shared a bed with the singer over a long period. A source close to the 45-year-old Jackson said, for the past 5 or 6 years, he's taken kids from fractured homes and nurtured them as a father figure. As they get older, he teaches them fun things to do. Just rub it. Michael says he learned this from an adult when he was a teenager. No one on his staff ever said anything. He's a tyrant. Everybody obeys the man. Another Jackson source said the boy was told of everything that went on, described things in Michael's closets, his bathroom, and what was under his bed. In her statements to police, Gavin's mother, Janet Ventura, no relation to Jesse, revealed that Jackson encouraged her son to call him Daddy. He used to say, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?" Ms. Ventura claimed he, Gavin, and his 2 siblings were held virtual prisoners at Neverland. When she learned of her son's accusation of molestation, which included claims that Jackson plied him with wine and sleeping pills, she fled with her family in the dead of night. A source close to DA Tom Sneddon, who will prosecute the case, said the DA is very confident with the evidence he has. This includes letters, videos, and computer files. They believe they have enough to nail Jackson.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560 QAM.
You go to hell and you die.
New this fall on Fox. It's a late-night talk show unlike any other you've ever seen. The King of Pop snuggles into his king-size bed with warm milk and cookies and interviews some of Hollywood's hottest young celebrities.
Hello, this is Michael Jackson in bed with an Oscar nominee who is currently starring as the voice of Mowgli in Disney's new animated adventure, The Jungle Book 2. Please welcome my special guest in my bed, Haley Joel Osment.
Do we have to do this in your bed?
It's innocent. It's very charming. I let my children sleep with Barry Gibb.
Who?
So tell me, Haley Joel Osment, how is it working with lovable Bear Baloo?
Well, he's not real, Michael. He's a cartoon voiced by John Goodman.
Haley, look what I could do with this.
Oh!
You never know who's going to be sleeping in Michael's bed.
I'm here with my next guest snuggled up in my bed. It's a big TV star, the child who plays Sipowicz's son on NYPD Blue. Hello, child who plays Sipowicz's son on NYPD Blue.
Hi, Mike.
Would you like to play a game, child who plays Sipowicz's son on NYPD Blue?
Sure.
Put on this mask.
I don't want to.
I'm having so much fun. Me and my children play this game with Barry Gibb all the time. Put the mask on. Here, touch this one time.
So grab some warm milk and cookies and join Wacko Jacko for some late-night TV like you've never seen before. It's Sleeping with Michael Jackson, weeknights on Fox.
11:02 at 560 WQM. Happy Monday to you. Let's see, we got the Mad Dog at 2. The Humper's doing a show at Shula's this afternoon, 4 to 7. 3 solid hours of the Humper. Okay, that's enough. Panther preview at 7. The Panthers host the Buffalo Sabres at the Macarena 7:30. Now, ought to be a big crowd for that. Not. Eddie K is doing a show at Goldfinger's. Did I get that right?
Correct.
At Goldfinger's at 10:30 tonight after the hockey game, and then Joe and Mark overnight. Eddie K was a great guy. His show, like I said, a lot of chronic regular. Well, what are you going to do at that time of night, you know? You got Carl. And then you got, I think Steve, the Marlins guy, is probably asleep at that point. So let's hear it for that Jay Fiedler, baby.
Oy!
Sid Luckman.
Oy!
Sandy Koufax.
Oy!
And now Jay Fiedler.
Oy!
Good Jewish boy from Dartmouth, no less, pulls it out. Boy, who the hell are they kidding, man? He is marginal at best. At best. As they just squeaked by against a little girls team coached by a moron, a man with like that. Don't you just hate Steve Spurrier?
With a passion.
This is supposed to be the holiday season, Thanksgiving. We're supposed to be thankful for all our friends and loved ones and good things. We're not supposed to be spewing hate, but it's more fun. Cameraman collapses and dies covering Jackson arrest. This is sad. Speaking of that, I just decided if George has got some kind of a terminal thing, heaven forbid.
Right.
You know, some chancre that's just going to eat up his whole body.
A tumor.
No, that's bad. But I'm thinking we can always bring in Pharrell to just be do his job. He's looking for work, right? And then we won't let him say anything, then he won't get in trouble. He'll just go like that.
You
right?
try to keep him quiet.
Yeah, just like that. I think that would be great. And like on this story, cameraman collapses and dies covering Jackson arrest. He'd find that most amusing, hysterical. What a sad chapter. A TV cameraman who collapsed while covering pop star Michael Jackson's sensational arrest and child molestation charges later died of apparent heart failure, his station said on Friday. Bill Skiba, a 43-year-old camera operator for KEYT TV, who fell on Thursday while racing down stone steps at Santa Barbara jail, had suffered from diabetes, the statement said in a statement on its website. The station said Skiba was a talented and dedicated video journalist and a gentleman who'd be sorely missed. What the hell does the fact he had diabetes have to do with it? He fell. Did Dr. Atkins have diabetes?
No.
He fell and he died. What is that? Dozens of journalists and police officers saw Skiba fall shortly after Jackson's arrival. Several tried to render him aid before he was rushed to a hospital, but the station said paramedics were unable to revive him. So you see, here's another message for all you kids out there. 3 words. Don't fall down. Okay?
Okay.
No, it's just not a good idea, because when you fall, you have no idea. You think, I can brace myself like I did that time when Amsterdam and broke that finger in my hand. It could have been worse than that. If I'd have fallen on my noggin, I could be pushing up daisies right now, and there are people in the audience going,
all right.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
That big cast was just for a finger?
Yeah. It wasn't a cast. It was a splint. A cast is your whole arm. You better get with it, mister, because your day is coming. Your day is coming. Yeah, I had to have that splint all the way up to my elbow for that damn broken bone in my hand. It's a pain in the ass. Jackson, who was taken into custody on suspicion of child molestation, spent less than an hour at the jail. Yeah, that's a great thing. Mark Arago says he's coming back here to face his accusers. Yeah, he is in there. They book him. He bonds out, and that's it. He's back to Vegas. Now, here's the story that really set me off. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I just can't handle it no more.
Settle down.
No, it just can't go on forever. There has to be a point. It's like, well, now here's one for our side, like the OJ thing. That's bull crap. That's not justice. That's horse crap. It's like, well, it's like the priest. How many freebies do we get? How many free murders do we get? How many free molestations do we get? None. The answer is none. What kind of a mentality is that? I mean, the fact that people got railroaded and, like that thing in that small town in Texas where they all went to jail on these trumped-up charges. We talked about that story. That was grotesque, and it's got to be made right, and it is. We've called it Dudley Do-Right to make it right. But this idea that these grotesque crimes that are committed, see, now we got one of ours got off. That's good. That'll teach Whitey a thing or two. That's bullcrap. That's sick. That's sick and nauseating. It makes people get really hateful, and that sets race relations back 100 years, just like the Bush administration is doing. Black show business pals rally around Michael Jackson, Hollywood silent. Rallying around pop icon Michael Jackson following his stunning arrest on child sex charges, his family and some leading figures in the African-American community vigorously defended the king of pop against the molestation charges. Close friends like Elizabeth Taylor and Liza Minnelli remained surprisingly mum. Well, that was until the weekend. Liza still ain't talking. But Liz Taylor, that fag hag, she opened up a big puss over the weekend. Oh, I know he didn't do it. How does she know that? Has she, got psychic powers like Shirley MacLaine? Is that the deal, like Denny McClain?
And the other Dion.
DiMucci? Oh, Dionne Warwick, yeah.
Right.
Phony bitch. I used to like Dionne Warwick, too. See, she turned me off with that phony psychic thing. Just like that bitch, bitch Joe Costello out there used to work at Power 96. What? Bo Griffin. With that phony psychic thing. And she had Shirley Peters, whose name was, what was her name? Tempest Storm or whatever her name was. Candy Kane. Oh, yes, I'm a psychic. I got more psychic powers than all them bitches put together. Guaranteed. I bet your life on it. Well, so before I finish with this story, speaking of my Alzheimer's I don't have episode, so I'm checking my frequent flyer miles because I'm a moron, and everybody knows I'm a moron.
Yes.
Thank you. And I fly all these miles, and I don't join all the frequent flyer clubs and get to use the miles. So what the hell's the sense of continuing to pay for something you can get for free, right?
Correct.
It's like sex. Why pay for it when you can get it for free?
Absolutely.
There you go. Everybody agree with that?
Absolutely.
Sure. Except for Clarence, he'd pay anything, and he still can't get it. So the deal is, I'm sitting here, and I'm thinking about Delta. I know I have a whole bunch of miles on Delta, but I haven't flown Delta in years. I hate Delta. Can't stand it. See, there he goes with that hate stuff again. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, I'm just going to make numbers up. 55578, and the 9 numbers come into my mind, and I thought, how can it be? I don't have my Delta card with me. It's probably back in a house down there, and I haven't used it in years. And sure enough, I go on to Delta Sky Miles online. I punch in the numbers. There it is. It's my account.
You remember your account number?
Yes.
Nah, I don't believe you.
Let me say it again. Why would I make up a story like that? I know the account number, all 9 digits. I'm not giving it on the air, but I'm just telling you right now.
What is that number? Prove it.
Yeah, blow it out your ass. I couldn't believe it. I looked on there and I thought, why do I remember that? Well, what is it? But at least I don't have no Alzheimer's. So what was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah, this Michael Jackson thing. As Jackson laid low at the Green Valley Resort near Vegas, where he flew on a private jet Thursday after being booked in Santa Barbara, accusations of racist behavior toward him began to surface. If this doesn't make you just wild, I don't know what the hell would. How can it be racist when a guy isn't even black? And another thing about Jermaine, that's germane to the case, he comes on there and says, oh, people think that he's a freak, he's this and that, we had a wonderful childhood and this and that. Well, since when? Wasn't that supposed to be part of the whole thing while he was dysfunctional because his father was abusive and a drunk and all of this? And now here's Jermaine on there rewriting history and telling everybody how they all had a wonderful childhood and everything was very normal and everybody walks around looking like that.
Childhood's the key to the problem.
God. The star's mother, Katherine Jackson, told the online version of Germany's Bund magazine Friday there were 2 interpretations of the law in the U.S., one for whites and one for blacks. How about one for whites that used to be black? She suggested her 45-year-old son had been tricked ahead of a major police swoop in his house Tuesday. They swooped in. I wonder whether somebody could have set a trap for him and hidden false evidence in his house, she said. She rhetorically asked. But insisting Jackson was not guilty, she said he was bearing up under the strain of the charges and the unprecedented media attention focused on him. Oh, yeah, unprecedented, right. He's not worried because he's innocent. He's very strong. Doesn't he always give you that impression of being...
Yeah, he's a tough guy.
When you look at him, you think they don't come any butcher than Michael. U.S. Civil Rights Leader Reverend Jesse Jackson. U.S. Civil Rights Leader Reverend Jesse Jackson. Who the hell wrote this? Is this from, what is this, on Yahoo? Some Yahoo wrote it. Called for restraint, saying his namesake deserved a trial in court, not in the media, and expressed grave concerns over prosecutors' handling of the case. Oh, there's a lot more to this, which I'll do the break first. A lot more to it. Isn't that great?
Wonderful.
You can take anything. I'm surprised they haven't already made this thing with John Mohammed into a race. Oh yeah, they're gonna off him because of the fact that he's black. How about that Green River killer that killed at least the 38 women? Wasn't that the name of that guy that they just got a couple of weeks ago?
I don't know.
They just made the deal with him, and he got off from the death penalty. Well, they didn't just get him, but I mean they made the deal because of the fact that he gave the names of all the women that he killed. Or at least the ones he could remember.
They offered him the death penalty?
They offered him the death penalty. He said, no, I'll give you the names instead. What do you think? He said, I just remember Neil's Delta frequent flyer number. He said, okay, that'll do it. 11:13 at 560 WQM on a tremendous Monday. I don't know what it is, but I think this week's going to be okay. I could be wrong about that. Holiday. Everybody's taking days off. That's the way we like it at QAM. A lot of time off, more pay, more vacation. That's what it's all about. I'll tell you what it's all about at Shelley Bloom's Fashion Clothiers. It's about getting looking really great. If you want to be a slob like me, go right ahead. If you want to look really fashionable, this is the place. Shelley Bloom's have been serving the men in South Florida for 40 years from that same great location, 2650 Northwest 5th Avenue in Miami Fashion District. At Shelley Bloom's, you'll find fine men's clothing from suits, sport coats, slacks, dress and sport shirts, ties, and one of the biggest selection of designer shoes anywhere in town. Shelley's got Italian slacks, Super 120s in 15 colors for only $60. Giorgio Armani suits that sell from $1,395 to $1,595. You can buy them for only $795. That's about half price at Shelley Bloom's Fashion Clothiers. Shelley even offers a fantastic selection of Italian suits starting at just $225 each. Service, selection, and price. Those are the three ingredients that have kept Shelley Bloom in business in the same spot for over the past 40 years, and that will never change. The selection is unbeatable. Alterations are always free, and with thousands of suits in stock up to size 70, you're sure to find what you need. They could even fit Fat Boy over there, maybe. So stop overspending at the malls and make the trip to Shelley Bloom's in the heart of the Fashion District. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9:30 in the morning till 6 p.m. If you have any questions, you want to compare price, just give Shelley a call, 305-573-5890. That's 305-573-5890. Shelley Bloom's Fashion Clothiers. It's well worth a trip.
Live and local. We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
My childhood, my lawyer says it's worked quite well for some, 'cause I've been looking around for an excuse to explain my quirks. You can't recognize me. My doctors have bleached out my ethnicity, and I keep children around, and they sleep inside my bed. You turd. People say that I am gay. That is why I married Lisa Marie.
Absolutely.
It's way too late to compensate with this song that's really bad. Blame it on my childhood and all of those toys that I never had. The only G.I. Joe in my life was my drunk and abusive dad. Before you judge me and call me freaky, let me whine and pout and say,
Oh, we're fine.
I blame it on my childhood.
Right, and we all believe you, don't we?
No.
But Jermaine says your childhood was great now all of a sudden. We keep rewriting history and making things up, and LaToya said that scumbag forced her to say all of those things and read those statements about you being a child molester and a pedophile, and she was sick and tired of covering up for your ass. 300 votes on there. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? Louis Farrakhan, 113. He's off to the races, old Louis. He's off to the race relation race. Jesse Jackson, 77. Al Sharpton, 50. OJ got 26. They hate you, OJ. Deion Sanders, 22. He's right on OJ's ass. Michael Jackson, 8. And Johnny's Cochran got 4. Before I get back to that story.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Now you faxed me this. Why couldn't you tell me this on the air?
Oh, just...
Why do you have to send me a fax to tell me that Kimba Beaucamper is going to be on for the Humper Day? Too much heavy-duty work for Hank. He's a little overworked these days. Overweight and overworked. Funny. Kim Beaucamper for the Humper at Fort Chulas today. Kim's another really good guy like Eddie K, but does a very boring show. But nevertheless, that's the best we can do. He'll have lots to talk about. Jay Fiedler, Brian Greasy, Jay Fiedler. Man, I get such a kick, such a chuckle out of that whole deal, you know? It's hysterical. 1 minute they're the GOAT and they're the worst in history. The next minute they're a hero. All this other silly crap. Here's a couple of faxes before we get back to that very important Michael Jackson thing. It looks like the Sun Sentinel has gotten a case of Miami Heralditis with their misinformation last couple of weeks, says this faxer, and you are
absolutely correct, sir.
Several days ago, they had a picture of Juan Pierre attached to the story about Dontrell Willis. We talked about that, being the favorite for the Rookie of the Year award. Today on page 9C of my Broward edition, they have a chart listing the longest Dolphin pass plays of all time. They list last night's 80-yard touchdown pass from Brian Greasy to Darius Thompson. The only problem is the pass was caught by James McKnight, as written in the story attached to the chart. Another great job by one of our local fish wraps. Oh! Thank you so much, as they just can't get it right. See, the thing I love best about the Sun Sentinel is when they make a mistake, like on their website, they don't care. Like the time Jicka had, he was writing a thing about Waxy 790, and he had 710 on there. And I talked about it on the air for days and days. Every day I would mention it, and they never changed it. It would take too much effort to go to the website and change something. Kind of like the Beasley attitude about the QM website. At any rate, I don't want to get started on that. Here's another fact. This is a good fact. It says, this morning, since Howard is off this week. No, he's not off this week. He was off today. He's off today because he had to go schluffing, man. He had to get some beauty sleep. Is it helping?
Absolutely.
Not. It says, since he's off, I switched over to your station, and the sports nerds were out. Oh, they sure were. It reminds me of when I lived in Asia and Europe over the last 4 years, how there are more relevant things to talk about rather than the, hey, Joe, did you see the great block the tackle made on the final drive? And speaking of that, there was no great block that anybody made. It was Ricky put on his cape on, and he jumped over the line. That was a beautiful thing for Dolphin fans. He jumped over. He flew into the end zone. Anyway, it says here, I must say that since I came back, I watch very little sports, and, I don't miss it at all. And listening to the sport holes who haven't even been outside of Dade or Broward make me tune in the best of Stern. Good luck to all of us. And it says F. Rummy, Condi, Pearlie, Cheney, and Wolfie, too.
Best of Stern.
Then he must be on vacation, too. Everybody's on vacation. How come I'm not, damn it? I'm the vacation king and queen. And I'm sitting here working my ass off. George is probably just screwing off, pretending to be sick today. Hank's laying out. Who else? And like I said, Mo this morning. But the good line in this fax is, hey, Neil, do you think the sports nerds think going to the Dolphin game is traveling? That's a great line. That's their idea of a long trip.
It's a long trip. Takes an hour back and forth from the house.
Right. Real worldwide travelers. Oh, we went to the Dolphin game to Joe Robbie Stadium, whatever they call it these days, PP Park. We went and did a PP at the park. I understand they had, how many people at the Rutgers UM game on Saturday?
About 30, man.
That's what I heard. I heard there was Geldy doing it, or was Joe? I think Little Dog was moaning about what a pathetic turnout. You call that a crowd? You call that a crowd?
You call that a penis?
Right. Well said, Little Dog. That's why they call him Little Dog. Jeez. I don't know what the attendance was. Does anybody know? Does it have an idea?
I don't know. The Beast is not around to ask.
Was the Beast off today, too?
No, he was in.
Oh. I don't know, because I try to avoid as much as possible of that. Anyway, this is Jesse Jackson going on again. It says, Michael deserves due process. The newsroom should remain objective, and the global community must not hasten to judgment, he said, branding the raid by up to 70 investigators on Jackson's Neverland Ranch as overkill. It was overkill. Now, if a white guy would have been completely white, if it would have been him they were looking for evidence, then it would have been okay. If it was Charlie Manson's place, Ted Bundy's home, if he had one, then it would have been okay. But now it was overkill. Singer Rick James, who looks, did you see him on TV?
Man.
Yeah, we saw him.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He's sure enjoying some Popeyes and Kentucky Fried these days, I'll tell you that. Man, oh, man, talk about just ballooning up. Looks like somebody stuck a bicycle pump in Rick James' ass and just blew it up. He made Fat Rich look like Minnie Mouse. Singer Rick James, a good friend of Jackson since their Motown recording days, was blunt about what he saw as prosecutor Tom Stedman's motives in pursuing Jackson on child abuse charges for the second time in 10 years. He's black, rich, and famous, and they have nothing better to do, he said, of the charges Stedman filed against Jackson. As soon as you get famous and black, they go after you, he told CNN. Like Bill Cosby.
Right, like all the rap artists.
Right.
They go after them all.
Sure. Jackson's brother, Jermaine, implicitly evoked the specter of racism against the Black Star, who's one of the best-known entertainers on earth. He is innocent. This is nothing but a modern-day lynching, said Jermaine. A modern-day lynching. Rapper P. Diddy and rhythm and blues diva Alicia Keys also weighed in on Jackson's side, accusing the media of hounding the embattled king of plop. I feel offended by the way the media is handling a man who really has been a major force in American culture since the day he was born, virtually, Keys told reporters. I really think he deserves more respect.
Respect.
P. Diddy said, Michael Jackson's been a positive influence in my life. I believe that. I think they got a lot more in common than meets the eye. The way the media is stalking him, I think it's wrong. Even if he's in the wrong, let's at least get the evidence and give the man his day in court. And then we'll fry his ass. Jackson's goddaughter, Nicole Richie, 22, whose father is crooner Lionel Richie, also came to the besieged pop icon's defense, saying she and pals had often slept in the same room with him at Neverland, and no inappropriate behavior ever took place.
Well, she was female.
Yeah, plus he had her jammed over probably against the side of the wall.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Thomas. One pill makes you drowsy, my friend, and it also makes you high. And the ones my housemaid gave me, they made me itchy all the time. But go ask Wilma. Yeah, she'll keep you well supplied. Hey, Mom, I'm downing them goofballs and hillbilly heroin. Bring me to a higher astral plane. I can have a groove drug and not get busted. Thanks to my friends in a higher moral place. So go ask Wilma. She'll get you some horse and a handful of goofball. I'm back, my supplicants, and ready to build those ovens to burn cheese and other dissenters' friends. Let's extract the gold out of their teeth and donate the proceeds to the RNC as a show of blind support for our glorious leader. And go ask Wilma. She'll get you through your show by putting logic out of proportion to justify your seething hate out my ass. I'm talking backwards, my diddlehead friends. Remember what Rush Limbaugh said. All drug abusers should be dead. Plus, of course, prescribed medicine.
Oh, and speaking of fatso, Rush Limbaugh attacks the National Enquirer, says the Enquirer, and fails to mention a few things. When Rush Limbaugh returned to the airwaves after 5 weeks in rehab, he didn't come clean about his involvement in a Florida drug ring, and he never mentioned that he's subject in an ongoing police drug probe. Instead, the conservative commentator came out swinging at the Enquirer. We broke the shocking story of his longtime addiction to prescription painkillers in our issue published October the 2nd. He told listeners, it's quite hilarious to listen to people quote the National Enquirer as the world's foremost authority, and I'm here to tell you that they're not. What you know, what you think you know, you don't know. Don't make the National Enquirer the authority on this story.
You know.
We reported that Limbaugh bought tens of thousands of pills from the housekeeper at his Palm Beach mansion. The details of the Enquirer's scoop were later confirmed by other top news organizations across the country. Sources say Rush's housekeeper wasn't the only person supplying him with narcotics, and he remains part of a drug probe in Palm Beach County, which has led to 2 arrests so far.
All right.
The investigation is ongoing, and more arrests are possible. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation told the Enquirer, Rush may be out of rehab, but he isn't out of the woods yet as far as cops are concerned. Rush has admitted his addiction to prescription drugs, but the thing to remember is he didn't have a prescription. How do you like that, Rush? Pop a few more, you idiot. He's still popping them. Oh, by the way, they had that big outdoor hockey game, the first regular NHL hockey game ever played outdoors in Edmonton Saturday night.
Was it cold?
And the old-timers game that preceded it, and the U.S. networks are so hockey-intensive they didn't even televise it. Needless to say here, starting at 4:30 in the afternoon with the old-timers game, and right through the conclusion of the Leafs 5-3 win over Vancouver at about 1 o'clock in the morning, there was like 8.5 hours of hockey. Oh! Now we're talking, baby. But the U.S., and you wonder why there's no hockey fans in most of the U.S.? Because they don't do anything for it. That was a great spectacle. It was minus 25 degrees Celsius. It was 25 below zero. And they were playing hockey. And even as patriotic as most Canadians are, when they said, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps to honor the flag and the idea, and played "O Canada," a lot of people kept their toques on.
Well.
Exactly. They said their ears were more important than their patriotism.
You think?
Anyway, getting back to this very important story, Jackson's goddaughter, Nicole Richie, 22, his father is crooner Lionel Richie. I read this, but it's you got to have this as a prelude. Also came to the besieged pop icon's defense, saying she and pals had often slept in the same room with him at Neverland, that no inappropriate behavior took place, and always used this line. It was like absolutely nothing more than just an adult kind of wanting to be a kid again, she told the Access Hollywood Entertainment TV show Thursday. The man is 45 freaking years old. Hello?
He's a Toys R Us kid.
45 years old. We've been hearing this excuse for the last 20 years now. He just wants to go have the childhood he never had before. Rapper LL Cool J said neither the charges nor the media hyperbole surrounding them would dim his support for Jacko. I'm a fan. I support him 100 zillion%. Until I see evidence, I'm not going to be convinced. I'm not going to be brainwashed. Wonder like that. Liza Minnelli had no comment.
Interesting.
And Liz Taylor finally this weekend opened up her big mouth, that fag hag, the world's #1. Oh, I know he didn't do it. He's not guilty. Yada, yada, and all this other crap. So there you go. Haven't had anybody. It's almost noon. We have had nobody call in to rip George now that he's out sick today, which we invited. Usually we don't have to invite, you know what?
They just volunteer usually.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Not a call. We're doing screenless today. They're not a call on the board. We took two already. What the hell do you people want? We took 2 calls. That's like 1 an hour. And that's plenty as far as I'm concerned. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? We're asking on NeilRogers.com. 347 votes. WQAM.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
On your poll earlier, Michael Irvin, I hate him.
Do you?
He's a pimp thug, coke taking, sniffing coke. Now he's got a job on ESPN. They should fire his ass. And on you ripping on people taking off, man, you're the person that takes off the most. You got
I know, that's why I do it. That's the idea, schmuck. That's the idea, schmuck. 347. Louis Farrakhan, 131. Jesse Jackson, 89. Al Sharpton, 58. OJ has got
about 30, man.
Deion Sanders, 24. Nice going, Deion. You go, boy. Michael Jackson, 9. Johnny Cochran's got 6. That's right. You're just jealous, loser. You're just jealous because I take off whatever the hell I feel like it, man. And big checks come in. In fact, look at the calendar. Tomorrow's the 25th of the month. You know what that means? That means I got a big fat one tomorrow and a check too. You're just jealous. The Humper, he's making a fortune. I don't have no idea how much Hank makes, but between ESPN and the station, he's pulling in some big bucks. When you have a big gambling habit like that, you have to, and a big eating habit. Nice going, Humper. We got Kim Bocamper. Actually, Mad Dog is working today.
All right.
Which is pretty unusual for him. Let's see, how many days is he working this week? 1, 2, 3. Definitely not Thanksgiving Day. And 4. On Friday it says 4 out of 5. Okay, now let's see. No Mo today. Mo's doing a ball game on Thursday, so that's a work day for him in Mandich. And it says Mo on Friday. Am I working on Friday?
No.
I'm taking off at noon on Thursday because there's a ball game on.
No.
So I got a day and a half off. So like the guy said, I get more time off than anybody, and that's the way I like it.
All right.
You bet. Why the hell not, right?
Why not?
I'm old and feeble. WQAM.
Yeah, Neil, please.
Yes, sir, speaking.
Yeah, hey, whoa, my God, picking up live, huh?
Exactly.
Well, I can rip George.
Go ahead.
Hey, if he's on, I turn it off. You know, I solve that problem really easy.
Right.
And I want to compliment you on one of your sponsors. Can I do that?
Sure, go ahead, please.
Did you hit Victor Nerves over there and full on it up?
Right.
They're getting an Abbott's machine in.
Oh, that's the Abbott's Frozen Custard.
Abbott's Frozen Custard, pal.
Now we're talking, baby. Now that time people will be walking around with a big smile instead of that frown on their puss.
It'll be sitting in show on.
Okay.
Adios.
Thanks for the good news, Pally. They're getting an Abbott's Frozen Custard machine, which, of course, back in Rochester years ago at Vic and Irv's and Don and Bob's and Nick Tahoe's, and I guess maybe not, I don't know if Nick Tahoe's had the frozen custard, but anyway, the other places did, and man, is that good stuff. Better than ice cream. You ever have frozen custard?
No.
Like almond fudge frozen custard? Oh, man, chocolate almond fudge. Man, you'll be packing it. Anyway, I never finished the poll results so far. Get with it. I'm all over the place. We're doing the AOR format today, all over the road. Poor Josh is sitting in there. He doesn't know whether to scream or peel a banana because he got, about 2 minutes training on Friday? He'll be all right. See, but it goes to show I'm all heart. I'm not forcing him to answer the phone, and everything is just kind of like laid back. Now through the end of the year, it's the holidays. Take a lot of time off. And believe me, we will. Jury recommends death for Sniper John Mohammed, and now the jury members are coming out just like it was a ball game. You know, just like we just finished a ball game. And now they're all standing in front of the microphone.
Or multiple people that are prepared for a year, and then all of a sudden...
Bada beep, bada boop, bada bop, you know, and everybody's got something to say, you know, because they need to fill up the time, right? CNN, MSNBC, Fox, all of these, they got to fill up the time.
They need something on the air.
With a bunch of slime. 352 votes. Which well-known black is the biggest impediment to race relations? Louis Farrakhan, 132. Jesse Jackson, 90. Al Sharpton, 59. OJ, 31. Deion Sanders, 25. Michael Jackson, 9, because most people don't consider him black. And Johnny Cochran, 6. So that whole story about the race relation, it's just, you just got to pee in your pants laughing. Right?
It just makes no sense.
When anybody thinks of Michael Jackson, does the word black enter their mind?
No.
Is there any chance you think him as being,
no,
even like mocha?
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
At my junior, honey.
I believe we're ready now, nurse.
Congratulations, Mr. Jackson. Here's your new baby boy. Would you prefer paper or plastic?
Plastic, please. I can't wait to get you home, Shaman, and show you your new pacifier. You're my petri dish, baby. Oh, what a lovely way to perpetuate my pedophilia. A petri dish, baby. Shaman, you won't need a crib, 'cause I'll cuddle up close to feel ya. Oh, I want you to hold me. Oh, to fondle and grope me. You'll get all you're deserving. My love will be unswerving until you reach 13. You're my petri dish, baby. Come on, sit on Daddy's lap. We have the game to play with you. Daddy wants you to find the magic prunes. Oh, Shamo.
Also commenting on Jackson's situation were Quincy Jones. Remember Quincy Jones in that video, We Are the World?
All of them were there.
No, but don't you remember he was like directing, and he was like, he looked like a mannequin. His arms were like very strange. Anyway, Quincy Jones, one of the most influential producers in the music business, who all says he sends his prayers to Jackson, comedian Steve Harvey, and rapper Missy Elliott. Elliott says she prays that Michael Jackson didn't do what he's accused of doing because he is the biggest influence in her life. She describes herself as ready to fight for Jackson. She says some of her support comes from the fact that she, too, is a celebrity and knows what it's like to be judged. But Elliott notes that if Jackson is guilty, it's something he'll have to take up with God. Huh? If he's guilty, he'll have to take it up with God. Just like all them Catholic priests, they have to go to the Lord and they have to go to the rectory and pray that God will forgive them. I personally don't think Michael is guilty, said Harvey. I really don't think it is in him to harm a child. I really, really don't. I really think it'll help him clearly in the court of public opinion, said celebrity attorney Trent Copeland on CBS News' Early Show. I think from the evidentiary standpoint, these people can also serve as character witnesses for Michael Jackson. That could be quite impotent for him. In her written statement, Liz Taylor predicts Jackson will be vindicated. The fag-hag actress who has a few things in common with Jackson, including having been a child star, winning every award early in her career and experiencing more heartbreak than romance, also attacked the way the media has been covering the story. The first thing she said was, I thought the law was innocent until proven guilty. I know he's innocent and hope they all eat crow, said Taylor, who was refusing to comment on camera as a protest of the media treatment of Jackson. Plus, she looks like hell. For his part, Jackson addressed his fans directly via his new website, saying the child molestation allegations made against him are predicated on a big lie and that he'll be exonerated in court. I guess they figure we all have Alzheimer's, you know what?
We all forget these things from 10 years ago.
Right. Including that unauthorized biography and LaToya's statement, which now we find out she was coerced to read and somebody just made it up.
She was kidding.
We were just kidding, because they want in on the gravy train, because that new number ones, the new CD, is number one in England already and raking in the dough. And this goes on and on and on. What was the settlement? 20 million?
20
million in the civil suit in 93. 20 million. They said, oh yeah, we don't want to go through all of that here. We'll settle. We'll take the 20. Thank you. Just sign right here. You know, also speaking of the way the media manages the news, since they're like now heavy duty on this, the sentencing for John Mohammed. Remember in Mogadishu, the American troops that were dragged through the streets, the bodies?
Uh-huh.
In Mosul over the weekend, Iraqi teenagers dragged the bloody bodies of 2 American soldiers from a wrecked vehicle and pummeled them with concrete blocks yesterday. Witnesses said, describing a burst of savagery in a city once safe for Americans. Another soldier was killed by a bomb, and U.S. allied police chief was assassinated. As the butchery continues. That's spelled B-U-S-H-E-R-Y. The U.S.-led coalition also said it grounded commercial flights after the military confirmed that a missile struck a DHL cargo plane that landed Saturday at Baghdad International with its wing aflame. It was flaming. Nevertheless, American officers insisted they're making progress in bringing stability to Iraq, and the U.S.-appointed governing council named an ambassador to Washington, an Iraqi-American woman who spent the last decade lobbying U.S. lawmakers to promote democracy in her homeland. And also we had another tragedy. We had another chopper that went down in Afghanistan near Kabul. 5 Americans killed there. It just goes on day after day after day after day. No end in sight. I just mentioned that in passing, too, since nobody seems to care. We have bigger fish to fry, right? Like Michael. Yeah. There you go. And like John Mohammed. And every one of the jurors coming out.
Other people's children.
There you go. They all got something to say. 5670560. It's Rick George and Ash Day on QAM because he's out sick for a change. This business of calling in sick and not showing up every day, like I said, it's very important. If you've got anything at all in you, you show up for work every day. There's a little message for all you kids out there. Don't be taking a lot of time off. Don't be calling in sick. Don't be finding excuses not to show up. Right?
I should try that.
That's what Doreen said. She said, you got to stick with it. Put your nose to the grindstone. Put your finger in my... WQAM, hello.
Yeah, good morning, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving for everybody at QAM, and I have been called upon to...
That's Reverend Jones. Reverend Jones, who just announced for Thanksgiving, he's going to give us something to be thankful for. He's leaving the planet. He's going to Uranus.
I heard he's going to Toronto.
I thought it was him, like the first 2. Yeah, he's moving right up here. We'll take care of you, man. I got a lot of Arab connections up here. WQAM.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say, I've listened to you for a long time, and you got onto the Kennedy situation last week a little bit.
Right.
And I watched most of those specials, and I gotta say that our government has covered up that for 40 years. It's unbelievable.
Right.
Because to see his head get shot from the front and go back, there's no way that one guy can do that. When the bullet is coming from behind him, his head should have just went forward, and that was it.
No, that's not necessarily true. I would disagree with you on that because the forensics experts will tell you that the reaction of the head is it's unpredictable. In other words, that doesn't really tell you which direction the shot came from. What the clue is, they had Nellie Connolly, who was on with King on Saturday night, and she maintained, it's John Connolly's wife. She was in the car, and she knows that there were 3 shots. She was there. She heard them very distinctly. John Connolly himself, always until his death, he always maintained that there were 3 shots. He should have known. He was in the car. And she says, you know, the idea that one bullet was suspended in midair for a second and a half after it came through Kennedy's neck, and then, which clearly the hole in his neck was an entrance wound, not an exit wound, which they covered up and changed the diagram. But, you know, people over there know what happened.
And the other thing is to get up to the present date, is when we first got attacked by the, well, I can't say Iran, but when the
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, when our terrorists did attack us, and Bush went in after them, I won't lie, I was definitely for our country and this and that, but right now I have the feeling of the Vietnam reaction, and it's time just to pull it out. We in more ways than one.
Right.
And we did what we had to do and went over there. We proved to the world that we are still number one if we want to bomb everybody up, but it's time to get our American troops home where it's over, it's done with it, and that's about all I have to say.
Well said, Pally.
All right, thanks, Neil.
Have a great holiday. Bring them home, man. Bring them home for Christmas. Put together some kind of a makeshift, who the hell gives a crap? We don't really care, this business about, see, this was just like a face-saving thing. No weapons of mass destruction, no connection with Al-Qaeda, no nothing. So this is, we're here, Operation Iraqi Freedom. That's what this is all about. We just kept changing the name of it every couple of days. First there was shock and awe, and then there was a flaw, because we saw that there were no weapons of mass destruction. And we should have said, oh, let's get the hell out. But instead of doing that, and this bull crap about, well, now they're saying there's going to be at least 100,000 troops there until 2006. And the idea that the American public, see, against the media, they're still hawking about John Muhammad right here.
He didn't appear to flinch during the showing
Yeah,
of
flinch this,
autopsy
okay, Jeannie? Flinch this. Every single day. How come we're not seeing, I'm sure somebody must have some photos, some pictures. There was one photo of the bodies laying in the street, but other than that, we're not seeing nothing. Because they don't want American people to see any images of what the butchery that's going on over there, including against their own people.
Shh, don't tell nobody.
That's right. Don't talk about it. It's supposed to be a big secret. And I'm convinced the American public, man, they'll put up with anything. They don't care anymore. They put up with Vietnam all of those years. All those thousands and thousands of body bags coming back. 58,000 to be more or less. And where the hell is the leadership? I still say the goddamn Democratic Party, man, is so frickin' weak, so lame, so weak-kneed. That's why, Howard Dean is the man, at least to this point. But even him, wishy-washy, man, wishy-washy. Well, we have to stay and get the job done, but get them all out of there now. Let's go after Al-Qaeda. Let's go after the real terrorists. And this crap about Tommy Franks, that thing I read in the beginning of the show, that's just unbelievable. How do you like that? About if we have an attack with a weapon of mass destruction against the U.S., we can kiss our ass goodbye, basically. We can forget about our freedoms. We can forget about this form of government.
Any vacancy in that condo there?
What?
Any vacancy in that condo where you're at now?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. And people wonder why I talk what's happening in the country, and they sit like that. Give me the ball. Hey, that's Jay Fiedler, baby. Luckman, Koufax, and Fiedler.
Live and local. This is 560. The radio's all yours. QAM.
Mark Morgan. It's the 12 to 1 hour on QAM.
From Walt Disney Productions comes the cutest little Arabs you've ever seen. Arafat, Abdullah, Jerusalem, and little Jericho, 102 Palestinians. This time, the wicked Cruella Barak is trying to separate all the little Palestinians from their happy West Bank homes. It's one explosive situation after another, with all those Palestinians scrambling for cover. Don't miss Walt Disney's newest animated feature, 102 Palestinians, now showing in theaters everywhere.
I should have mentioned that this jury decision today, this is just their recommendation. You do understand that.
It is not official, no.
No, because February 12th will be the actual sentencing hearing with the judge, and the judge will decide, well, the jury said this, or maybe the judge will be lenient. What do you think?
No.
I doubt it.
Hope not.
Damn well better not be. 401 votes on our poll on NeilRogers.com. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? Louis Farrakhan, 149. He wins hands down your pantaloonies. Jesse Jackson, 99. Al Sharpton, 73. OJ, 34. Deion Sanders, 26. Neon Dion. Michael Jackson, 11, and Johnny's Cochran got 9 out of 401. But you notice how every time something like, here's Gloria Allred comes out over the weekend about how Michael Jackson's kid should be taken away from him, and it's always the same people, Mark Garagos and Gloria Allred and Nancy Grace, and the same crew of stinking lawyers, man. God, do they suck. Oh, I'll tell you who else, the Queen thinks the president sucks. The Queen is furious with President Bush after his state visit caused thousands of pounds of damage to her gardens at Buckingham Palace. How do you like that?
Oh, my God.
She's pissed. She's walking around with her nose even further up in the air than it usually is. Probably because Prince Philip farts a lot. Royal officials are now in touch with the Queen's insurers and Prime Minister Tony Blair to find out who'll pick up the massive repair bill. Palace staff said they'd never seen the Queen so angry as when she saw how her perfectly maintained lawns had been churned up after being turned into helipads with 3 giant H landing markings for the Bush visit. The rotors of the President's Marine Force One helicopter and 2 support Blackhawks damaged trees and shrubs. Oh, shrubs. I bet you Molly Ivins likes that had survived since Queen Victoria's reign. And Bush's army of clod-hopping security servicemen trampled more precious and exotic plants. The Queen's own flock of flamingos, now here comes the worst part, which security staff insisted should be moved in case they flew into the helicopter rotors, are thought to be so traumatized after being taken to a place of safety they might never return home. What are we going to do about that? Take them over to Hialeah. They can hang out with the ones in the infield there. I wonder if those flamingos are still at Hialeah. Don't you think that's something we ought to like send one of our crack ace reporters out on?
Josh is on his way.
Did you ever go to Hialeah?
I've driven through Hialeah.
No, I'm talking about the racetrack, dummy.
No.
Well, it was a beautiful thing. They used to have the flamingos out there, and then every now and then when it was feeding time, the guy would come, the trainer, and he'd like blow his whistle, and they would all like goose step around, just like the American public. It was great. The historic fabric of the palace was also damaged as high-tech links were fitted for U.S. leader and his entourage during his 3-day stay with the Queen. The palace's head gardener, Mark Lane, speaking of Kennedy conspiracies, but not the same one, was reported to be in tears when he saw the scale of the damage. The Queen has every right to feel insulted the way she's been treated by Bush, said a palace insider. And it goes on and on about it's going to cost this. Too freaking bad, okay, you silly-ass Brits.
Her Bushes were mistreated.
Yeah, too freaking bad. Oh, look at this. GOP drools over Dean race. Oh, yeah, they're counting their chickens already. They're hoping that Dean gets it because they think he'll be like another Michael Dukakis. I don't think so. Boy, the stuff that you're sending me on a fax machine is enough to make me just want to gag. Why are you doing that? It's just like getting even to George called you and tell you to do that?
Well,
Sending me some real swill.
That's all I've got.
567-0560. I got a whole pile here, man. Believe you me, I got piles.
I'm sure you got
big fat piles. Look at this. Polls show Massachusetts gay marriage ruling okay.
Okay.
2 new polls released yesterday show Massachusetts lawmakers could be bucking public opinion if they try to thwart the Supreme Court Judicial Court's ruling last week that found the state's ban on gay marriage unconstitutional. 50% of Massachusetts residents surveyed for Boston Globe WBZ-TV poll said they agreed with the ruling, while 38% opposed. 50% yes, 38% nay. A separate Boston Herald poll yesterday said 49% support legalizing gay marriage, 38% against. Both polls, conducted after Tuesday's ruling, had margins sampling error plus of 5. If people want to be together, who cares? Let them, said Bill Luff, 32, a nightclub owner in Worcester, or some Goya might say, Worcester. In its ruling, Massachusetts, well, we know that. Both polls released yesterday found opposition to the proposed constitutional amendment, 53% opposed and 36% in favor. Constitutional amendment that the governor wants, giving same-sex couples something short of marriage, and that would ban gay marriage and effectively skirt the rule. That's right. They want a constitutional amendment. Of course, the right-wingers in the U.S., they want to have a real constitutional amendment for the entire country. That's right. 2/3 of the states would have to ratify it. Sanctifying marriage, one man, one woman, all this other crap. Because God only knows what's going to happen if these fag marriages start popping up all over the place.
So unsacred.
Just unacceptable. But then again, if Cubans can get married like Miguel, don't we already have gay marriages?
Yes.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. They've been pretty nice to George today, haven't they?
So far.
He might actually come back tomorrow. WQAM.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Do you celebrate? Do you eat turkey?
No, I don't. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
It's definitely Farrakhan.
Yeah.
And why would you care about anything here? You're up there. I mean,
No, why would, it's amazing to me. We should have 3x5 cards, and then you automatically know who it is. Why would you care about this? Why do you care about California? That's the way this guy always sounds. Then we have the one guy, that crazy dentist. Do you have the courage to hear what about? It always starts the same way. They've got to have it written down. Maybe that's one of the reasons I am here, asshole. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T. In addition to which, I don't have to talk to a bunch of morons every day when I walk. As soon as this show is over, man, I talk to like friendly, decent, nice people. Not saying we don't have some assholes here, eh? But generally speaking, much better temperament, much better behaved. More civilized. There's the operative word, baby. Civilized. You get it?
Yes.
Civilized. As opposed to, just always angry, always pissed off, always hostile. I was discussing that with a friend yesterday. When you're in a place, when you live in a place, you start behaving like the people there. When you're in a place where the people are friendly and nice and low-key, you act friendly and nice and low-key. When you're in a place where the people are angry and hostile, it's like when you go to New York. And it's the hustle and bustle and everybody's running and pushing and shoving and rude and all of that. You start behaving like that too. It's just for survival's sake. You catch what I'm saying?
When in Rome.
That's right. So when in South Florida, be like that. Which is fine with me because I get paid the same regardless. WQAM, hello.
You eat sausage, don't you, think?
WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you ever notice how nasty George's teeth are?
Never really noticed. I try not to look that close. Why, you didn't,
I think it's from eating ass.
Yeah, is that what it is?
I might be. You guys got a good dental plan there or not?
No.
I figured. Later.
5670560, pound 560 on the 18. Boy, they got some weak material today. No wonder they've been pretty nice to George. Very weak. I know it's a holiday. We don't expect too much.
And Monday.
And I do. What?
And Monday.
And I got this big pile of stuff anyway. But they want calls, man. They want a lot of calls on here, and we've been shortchanging them the first 2 hours. So we'll make up for it this hour. Now, line 9 is always good. It's always a local call and long-distance line. QAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, with that article you read about the weapons if we get attacked,
Yeah.
do you have a copy of that on your site?
Do I have a copy of it?
Yeah, do you have it on your website?
No. And the
What
reason I
website?
don't have it on the website is because I couldn't do a link on it. Where the hell is it? I got it here. It's on Newsmax.com. It's by John O. Edwards. Don't read the rest of Newsmax.com. It'll rot your brain. But it's by John Edwards, Friday, November 21st. General Franks doubts Constitution will survive WMD attack.
News what?
Newsmax.com.
Okay.
Newsmax.
Thanks. This is your listener in Lincoln, Nebraska.
All right. Have a great holiday.
You too.
I mean, for me to recommend an article on Newsmax.com, but again, they're quoting Tommy Franks, and they're quoting from an interview in Cigar Aficionado, which is hardly a right-wing or left-wing or any other kind of wing propaganda machine. When we were doing them cigar spots, we never thought, oh, my God, it's Cigar Aficionado. It must be Comunista or Fascista or something like that, did we?
No.
No. Even though Fidel does like the big fat one, but then so again did Bubba.
And you.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Don't forget the QM fan and Miguel will be 5 to 7 this afternoon at the Publix, 401 East Sheridan Street in Dania Beach. Spin the wheel for prizes, which aren't much, but it's the best we can do. And pick up your Best in Yale merchandise, CDs and them Mo Howard David keychains, which I have around here. I nearly got deported when they found that thing laying around. They said, you Mo? WQAM?
Yes. Speaking Neil.
Speaking.
Yes, Neil. I was calling on, first time caller, but I listen to you all the time and pretty much most of the time, but I was curious as to what brings out the hatred of Louis Farrakhan so much. I mean, specifically what did he do?
You have to ask that question?
Yeah, because, like from a black perspective, I know him, I know of his doctrine pretty much.
And what is that? What is his doctrine besides hate? What else is it that he preaches?
He's actually preaching for the upliftment of his people, much as, what's this guy who's in jail, Yahweh Ben Yahweh guy, for not so much hatred of other people as much as, black folks doing better.
Right, like when he talks about that gutter religion and all this other stuff that he spews?
He did say something about it's a gutter religion, and, we could say a lot of religions are gutter religion. And that's your philosophy more than mine.
No, my philosophy is all religions are gutter religions, all of them.
Yeah, but like when you got black folks messed up as bad as we are at this point,
wait a minute. Well, what does that mean, messed up as we are? Why are you messed up?
Black people, you ain't blind. You work you drive through neighborhoods, you see the conditions that we're in now. I follow you since KAT.
Yeah.
That used to be my champion. Like most of the time, if your position on the cause would almost echo mine to the call. And just great. I know you must have got some rocks thrown at your vet or something, but you turn on blacks. This from a black man's perspective.
I turn on. What do you mean? I turn on blacks? What does
that
mean? I turn on red.
No, you ain't really particular about black folks too much any longer. But you used to be my champion. I don't know what happened, but things happen. As we get older, I change too. As I get older.
I used to be your champion, but now because of the fact I don't like Louis Farrakhan, I'm not your champion. Is that it?
No.
So in other words, there are no black people whose behavior or attitudes deserve to be criticized. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, by all means, and I'll be the first one to point out most of them. Crazy as hell.
Well, if you're defending Louis Farrakhan, my friend, you can talk until the cows come home. You're not going to convince me.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, I can understand a white person not wanting to be with it, but
In addition to which, let me say this to you: your beef isn't with me because I didn't vote for Louis Farrakhan on the poll. I voted for Deion Sanders because I find him repulsive. The fact of the matter is, I mean, you can argue with the rest of the audience because 162 of them, 38% are voting for Louis Farrakhan. I didn't vote for him; they're voting for him. They find him repulsive.
If we would listen, I'm just speaking from a black perspective. If we listen to a little bit more of what he say on the positive side, many of us say stupid stuff, you know, and me and you included. But if black folks would do a little bit more of the positive thing, like the family, and we wouldn't be as like, you know, looking like, man, we look bad. I really feel bad when I ride through and I see what's happening. I say, look what they did to my folks. I was one of the Black Power, hell no, I won't go of the 60s, you know.
Well, what do you mean? Look what they did to my folks. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. When I lived in Detroit, and I had friends of mine in Detroit, in the most fashionable, expensive neighborhoods is where they lived, in very multi-million-dollar houses. And then I went back 20 years later, and the entire neighborhoods were black, and all those beautiful houses turned it into a gigantic slum. Now, did white people do that?
Neil, now this right here, I mean, right now I'm in Opa-locka, right? And the money that's made as a result, you got zones where drugs are allowed to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
And what the money that's being made in this area from the drug sales, not in this area. Like they're bringing it in, and this is.
Listen, I got to run, man. I don't have all day for I understand what you're saying, but what we'll do is we'll give Rush's phone number and address before the show's out, and you can put it around the hood, and they can go and make some money down there. Have a great holiday, man. Yeah, they can go peddle some good stuff in the hood with where Rush is.
Cop a few oxys. Cop a few oxys.
12:14 at 560 WQAM. Oh, and what is this from Teddy, Chronic Teddy? Couldn't resist. The Mandish philosophy, there's always a shoeless man staying outside the door. What is it? Oh, this is, Chronic Teddy. Chronic Teddy licking George's butt again. No wonder George is infected.
We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
You turn. Start hitting the booze. Then hit David Guest. I want to leave a mark on you the size of New York. Kick you with pointed shoes for wearing my dress. I have just one remark for you, you dork, you dork. When I get lit up, I'm the meanest dame in the world. And I don't have any qualms about hitting girls. Your beady brown eyes will be black today. I'm gonna mop the floor with you, you dork, you dork. If you don't want to get hit, you'll hide in the closet. That's why we're through, you dork, you dork.
12:20 at 560 WQM. So anyway, I glossed over this fact from Chronic George Liquor Teddy Botswana in Miami.
Right.
And I shouldn't have done that because during the break I read it again because I didn't understand the full impact. I mean, the tremendous blow that I took from this fact. He says, hey, Neil and Scott. Well, guess what, Teddy? Scott ain't here no more.
That's my
either Scott. That's number one. Secondly, I wasn't going to do it, I guess is what he meant, but I couldn't resist. Yeah, you can't resist. George doesn't need you to defend him. George's job is secure. Am I right?
Absolutely.
You don't have to worry, Teddy. Although we are going to send you for the holidays a gigantic, life-size George Rodriguez blow-up doll. It says, I'm one who believes in the Mandich philosophy. There's always a shoeless man standing outside the door. But at this point, I don't think it's George who should be looking over his shoulder on off days. Happy gobble gobble, Teddy Botswana in Kindle. Meaning that I should be looking over my shoulder because George is waiting in the wings. You understand that? George is waiting with a big turkey wing over his shoulder. And he's just waiting in there for the day that I croak or just shove me out the door. Hey, guess what, Teddy? I got a real good contract, okay? I'm not looking over my shoulder.
You'll be fine.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, we're fine.
Yeah, we're okay. I mean, I realize I'm getting pretty old and feeble and not nearly as entertaining as George is, but nevertheless, Teddy, I do the same, feeble thing every day, day after day, and somehow we seem to manage just squeaking by. Seriously, I mean, I know we all have our groupies, and we all have those people who hate us, but this guy, it's beyond love. Whatever the state of mind, whatever the state of the emotion is, that transcends love. That's Teddy and George. Although I think it's one-sided. No, it's probably not one. George likes a little lick here and there. You know what I mean?
Rectum.
176 for Louis Farrakhan. Yeah, why the hell was that my dark friend out there giving me a what for? Although, of course, I do agree with those 451 or 176 people. Farrakhan's got 176. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? Louis got 176. Jesse Jackson, 109. He ain't no shrinking violet. Al Sharpton, 80. OJ 37, Deion Sanders 29. He's got nearly
about 30, man.
Michael Jackson 11 and Johnny's Cochran got 9. And maybe we'll have some very articulate people call in today and tell us why they find Louis Farrakhan to be so divisive and hateful and a bad that thing about he drives around and see what they've done to my black folks. I don't understand what he's talking about. Do you?
I didn't get that.
I mean, I realize that America is still an extraordinarily racist country in every respect, but nevertheless. In fact, when I look at Neon Dion on there in his pinstriped suit, driving his pimpmobile right on the set, and it seems to me, last time I checked, he was black, right?
Yeah.
Because that was Reagan's answer to solving the problems of the black community in America. He was going to, expand the NBA to 6,000 teams. Didn't work. WQAM.
Hey, Mr. Rogers, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
Listen,
good.
Were you able to locate that passage in the book, Al Franken, in reference to Fred Hume and that God from India?
No, I haven't done it yet.
I think it's around page 58 or 59.
This isn't Carl, is it?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. You sound a little bit like Carl. I got panicky.
No. Listen. Also, do you have any information in reference to what the Republicans did over the weekend in Congress? How they're trying to mend the rules to sham this prescription drug bill through?
Yeah.
Okay, can you let us know?
Well, what do you mean, do I have any information about it? They're shoving it down the old folks' throats.
Right. I'm going to give you an analogy of what they're trying to do. Okay, it's like trying to give a young child some candy that's poison. And when someone tries to stop you from giving it to the young child because they know it's poison, then they tell the kid, oh, look, he doesn't want you to get this candy. This bill helps out nobody. Except the big drug companies. They're going to make all the money.
But why should that surprise you?
It doesn't.
This is the Robin Hood administration. Take from the poor and give to the rich.
It doesn't surprise us. It should surprise some of these
Robin Hood in
idiots who
reverse.
keep calling your show every day with this nonsense, asking you how do you know what's going on when you up there. If it wasn't for you, half the stuff they wouldn't get privy to anyway.
Sir, I want to tell you, I read more about what's going on in the world on the internet in one day than most of these people do in a lifetime. Okay,
exactly.
So and I'm sitting here. I got CNN, I got MSNBC, I got all three American networks, plus I got BBC and CBC just to top it all off, eh? So I got some idea what's going on.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Mr. Rogers. Ever since you started with enlightening us with what's going on, I used to be one of those ones. Say I'm a big sports nerd. I'm admitting.
Right.
I was one of those ones that used to take things for granted, but now I watch the news. I stopped watching the news. I watch CBC or I watch BBC. You can't get any news here. These people ain't going to tell you what's going on in America.
That is
They're not
correct.
going to tell you what's going on with listen, the Republicans amended the rules. They stopped debate and held it open for 3 more hours so President Bush can call people and twist arms and say, hey, if you don't vote for us, we're going to get you out of Congress.
Hey, they'll jam it through. They'll jam it through. You already had Feinstein, a couple of other Democrats caving in. They'll jam it through.
But watch, if we filibuster, then they're going to come out and say, you're against the seniors, and the seniors going to say, the Democrats don't want us to get a bill, but the bill is forced.
Well, I don't know. Ted Kennedy was on this morning on CNN screaming about the fact that most senior citizens are against it in spite of the AARP, and even only 18% of the AARP's members are in favor of it. So what does that tell you?
Off anyway, Neil. The AARP was bought off already.
By the pharmaceutical companies. That is absolutely correct.
They were bought off. Hey, have a good day, Neil.
Come up to Canada, buy some drugs cheap, pal.
All right, buddy.
Or at Rush's house.
One or the other.
Okay. A lot of people looking for drugs, man, and the way things are going, I can't blame them. There's an article in Village Voice you might want to read. I don't want to do the whole thing. It's not that good anyway. By James Ridgway, Rummy's Kids. But the reason I mention that is he quotes Tommy Franks in the interview in Cigar Aficionado that was reprinted in Newsmax.com, that right-wing piece of crap. And this article doesn't go anywhere. because he's just tying together a whole bunch of unconnected things. Richard Pearl said this, and crazy General William Boykin said that about the Christian nation, and Rumsfeld said that, and Tommy Frank said this. And I think to sum it all up, you could do it in 3 words.
Oh, my God.
Right. 26 past noon at 560 WQM. Big news, Hallett Pontiac GMC is now Auto City Pontiac GMC of Pinecrest. Our good, close personal buddy, Tom Lehman, has sold the dealership to Lamberto Perez of Auto City Buick Pontiac GMC of Homestead. And you can expect the same great Neil deals and customer satisfaction that you're accustomed to, as Hallett's longtime general sales manager, Joe Prieto, is still in charge. He's still running a tight ship, believe me, it's pretty tight. Stop by Auto City Pontiac GMC of Pinecrest for great Neil Rogers deals on all makes and models in stock. Take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months or save you up to $9,000 with rebates and incentives right now. And as always, Neil deals continue with the new Auto City Pontiac GMC of Pinecrest and the same great location, 13401 South Dixie Highway. That's US 1 across from the Fall Shopping Center, open every day, 7 days a week. If you want more info, you know what to do. Call that Neil Rogers Neil Deal hotline toll-free at 1-888-534-4211. That's 1-888-534-4211. Keep in mind, all offers subject to credit approval. See the good folks at Auto City Pontiac GMC for details. The new Auto City Pontiac GMC of Pinecrest. Low prices without the high pressure.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Oh, the sign that used to say Robbie went dark, and now they're calling it Pro Player Park. Cause True to the Loom said it's time for a change. The new rules are you have to show up in your underwear, and no one ugly is allowed in there, so you'll have lots of fun checking out those buns. My zipper's flying down, so I can get my pick up when the game is over tight, just like my True to the Loom stuck around over my bulging mouth. Now you can see a lot more at the game, since everybody is undressed the same, and you can look around to see what's hanging down. This is paradise found. I never realized just how good it would feel being glad in my jockeys at the football field, since the Robbie is gone. Oh. And now it's PP Park.
Look at it. It's on that blonde, man. I'm going to start on this thing, and I'm going to rough it all year long. You jackass. I like guys. Come on in and lay down on myself. Well, all right, sports fans.
I ate and ate at the falafel ball stand, and met the new team mascot underwear man. Looked for chicks and stared at the fun zone up above, at their tunnels of love. I've never realized just how good it would feel being glad in my jockeys at the football field, since the Robbie is gone. And now it's BP Park. All right. They call it BP Park. Let's hang it BP Park.
Jay Fever, he the man, baby. Let's talk some football.
No.
Oh, okay. Now, I listened this morning. That's because you left me hanging here. It's not your fault because George didn't bother telling anybody was going to be out sick. But I'm sitting here because I usually, I'm done with my SHs, you know, my shower, my shave, my other one. At about 7:45 in the morning, I sit here, and then George is already by that time, sitting in that chair. And it's bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop, and we start BSing about whatever the events of the day are. He fills me in on what's going on in the U.S. because I'm so isolated. And this morning I'm sitting here all the way till 8:30.
It's okay. Suck it up.
All alone.
No, you had Joe.
And I had Geldy before that. Do you know what it's like getting up early in the morning hearing, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'd rather hear Geldy any day than hearing you-know-who.
Absolutely.
But nonetheless, he's a little shrill early in the morning. And then, of course, Joe came on, whom I love, Joe Rose. He's a good guy and all that other stuff. But the callers with this, I don't understand it. I can't relate to it. I watched virtually the entire Patriots game yesterday against Houston. I watched 95% of the Dolphin game last night. So it's not like I don't like sports. I watched the Leaf Vancouver hockey game the night before. I watched a little bit of the Panthers and their sorry-ass play, although they did win against the girls' team Saturday, and nobody was there Friday in that loss to Atlanta. Nobody. But it's not that I'm anti-sports like George. I'm not like militant about it. But how much is there to say about it? How many times can you keep repeating the same thing? It's like a throwback to that Jimmy and Danny stuff all over again. And the phoniness, I mean, just on the surface of it, oh, thank God for Jay Fiedler, and oh my God, he came in there. And the reason they're saying that is because they know that if he wouldn't have come in and they would have lost that game, that would have been finito right there. And all he did was postpone the agony, that's all. Anybody with a brain knows that this team sucks. Even you know that.
There was magic happening.
Oh, he was playing too, huh? Oh, well, it's a good thing he ain't trying that talk show anymore. Magic was playing. Because there sure was no magic on the field, I'll tell you that. Now, you really think if the starting quarterback, and I have no idea what the hell his name is for the Redskins because it's a little girls' team, you think if he wouldn't have got injured in the first half, they'd had any chance getting back in that game?
No.
No. None. Zero. Zippity-doo-dah.
Hasselbeck was playing good.
Huh?
Hasselbeck was playing good.
Get out of here. He's like a little girl's. His stats look good, but they were going nowhere. What did they score in the second half? 3 points? 3 freaking points. Something like that. Who the hell's kidding whom, man? But I just don't get it. It just goes on and on. It's a throwback to the people in charge of crap like this, like Greg Reed. You talk to Greg and he's got his finger stuck in that hole in his head where a brain might have once been, but I doubt it. And that's it. He lives and breathes and eats this crap. That's why, and he's surrounded himself with the Gary Sarners of the world and the Todd Drecks and all these other idiots. And that's all they know. Sports. Those of you people out there, and Clarence, little Clarence. I shouldn't probably say anything because tomorrow is payday. But I mean, good golly, Miss Molly, if that's all your life is all about is just the minutia of sports while the world is crumbling around you and all this other heavy-duty stuff is going on, there's something basically wrong, man. There's something missing in your mind, in your life. Good God. And to say the Marlins, to me, that was like the classic example of what South Florida is all about. As phony as an $84 bill. Nobody gave a flying crap. Nobody gave 2 Schmitz, much less 1, about the Marlins. And then all of a sudden that was magical, comes along this phenomenal thing out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you could have sold 800,000 tickets a game. It was the hottest ticket going in the universe. We love the Marlins, they're just the best, and now it's over, and that's the end of that. And I guarantee if they'd have had a goddamn tree that they could have found before the game yesterday, they would have wanted to lynch Jay Fiedler for fear that he might get in the game. And then once it happened at Brian Greasy stunk the joint out again, I guarantee you they'd like to lynch his ass right now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You bet. God forbid they should put him back in there again, ever again. Because the fans will be pouring out of the stands just riding on the field if they ever should see that happen again. Players will have to run for cover. You know what I'm saying is true.
It's true.
Phony as can be. WQAM.
Jim Landis.
We already got that one. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Listen, on the survey, I like Louis Farrakhan, too. And have you ever, I just want to ask you, have you ever listened to any of his speeches or anything?
Farrakhan?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, he's really a very articulate person, very
so
smart.
So was Hitler.
Yeah, you're right about that. The thing of it is it reminds me of the quote from The Godfather. Of the reason why I watch him is because keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you an idea of what other people are thinking. And by the way, it seems like he's
and don't forget, never tell anyone outside the family what you're thinking. Keep that in mind. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon line. WQAM, hello.
Miami Lakes.
Miami Lakes, hello.
Hi, Neil. How are you?
Pretty good.
Neil, I agree with you that the media in this country feeds the people like farmers lead sheep, And the problem with Michael Jackson starts with the homosexuals.
Yeah, right. No question about it. The problem with the media is they feed the sheep just like the Spanish language media feed the people like you in South Florida, asshole. The same old crap. Feed them whatever they want to hear. Same old tired crap. That's one of them little Julios that voted 45 times on our poll over the weekend. 21 till 1 at 560 WQM. If you're fat, here's where the answer might be at. Balance for life. The reason I say it might be because nothing works for everybody, but if you're frustrated because the Atkins didn't work for you, you couldn't stay on it because it was boring, or maybe any of the other low-carb diets that are popular today, maybe you tried Weight Watchers and it was boring as hell, here's something you really ought to give it a shot. Balance for life. Especially for people that don't have time to do a lot of shopping, a lot of cooking, a lot of calorie and carb counting, just don't have the inclination to do that. All you do is fill out a menu once a week, and that's it. That's all the work you have to do. They have 2 choices for each meal and snack every day that you're on the Balance for Life program, and you send over your menu, and that's it. You reach outside the door by 6 o'clock every a.m., and there's your little black sack waiting on you. Inside, you find fantastic, delicious goodies, omelets and frittatas, and all kinds of great stuff. They got chicken dishes and beef and fish, you name it, they got it. 3 gourmet meals, 2 delicious snacks are in your little black sack. Plenty of food to keep you happy all day long and satisfied, so you won't be cheating in between, which is why I guarantee you'll start seeing results on the scale within days. How's Katrina doing, by the way? What day is she weighing in?
What is she weighing in?
When is she weighing in? Oh, that's right. George will be back tomorrow. I'll ask him. I hate to put you on the spot. When's she weighing in? I think on Friday. Anyway, Katrina lost 4 days. The first couple of days, 4 days and 3 pounds. The first couple of days she was on the program. Here's the phone number to call for Balance for Life, 954-568-3229. 954-568-3229, or get more info on their website, balanceforlife.com. Here's that number one more once for the West Coast, 954-568-3229.
Live and local. We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
P-A-Y-S-U-C-K-S.
She bakes that ham every Easter. On all the other days, she just feeds us spam. But today she's making turkey with cranberry sauce. That's disgusting. What happened to the head? You know they chopped it off. Because on this day, our families always sit down and put on 20 pounds or more. Thanksgiving Day, see how much fur they can all put away. My dad works to let his belt out till he stops and has some more. Thanksgiving Day, everyone's watching some dumb football game.
Yes.
Thanksgiving Day, I'm 16, but I'm not able to sit at the grown-up table. Thanksgiving Day, my dad had served, I passed the ocean spray, pumped his chins, all 3 of them. Now he's feeling sleepy on Thanksgiving Day. Now that he's done, we'll have to roll him away.
I don't want to be a party pooper, but turkey sucks.
Pooper.
It's boring, it's tasteless, it's bland.
6 pounds for Katrina, by the way.
Nice going, Katrina. I told you she's doing great. She's lost 6 pounds in Balance for Life. That was the info I was looking for, and I'm sure she came running in to tell you.
Yes.
Because what do you know? Well, you're busy trying to get some weight off Doreen, trying to work it off of that bitch. Off of her fat ass. Anyway, what was I just saying before you interrupted? Something about, turkey sucks.
Turkey's great.
Get out of here. Turkey is, why do you think you have to have like gravy on it and the stuffing goes along with it and cranberries? Turkey is boring, man. I don't want to pee on people's Thanksgiving. How about making everybody like a nice ribeye steak? Juicy steak with some Peter Luger steak sauce. Now we're talking something with some taste. If you want to have like a great celebratory meal, eat something good, you know? For example, like, what's his name there? Mohammed, that they're probably going to like, off. If the judge goes along in February, for like an earlier gift to the rest of us, to American society, they're going to kill his ass. Now, do you think when they come in here and ask what he wants for his last supper, he's going to say, oh, how about some turkey, or maybe how about some church's chicken? He ain't going to say that. He's going to want him a big, big, juicy sirloin steak with Duchess potatoes, right?
Medium.
Medium, well. See, when I go out to dinner, I eat meals with people who like Fat Rich. Go to the track, he gets his steak medium rare. Oh, and prime rib. Yeah, have you ever been at a meal where somebody orders prime rib rare?
Ugh, no.
Oh my God! Here's like a piece of meat swimming in a pool of blood on a plate. I mean, that looks real appetizing to me. I'll tell you that. Oh, geez. That could be a successful new diet for me. Just going out and eating with people ordering rare prime rib.
We'll never eat again.
Bleh. Ozone layer sacrificed to lift Bush's re-election prospects, writes Jeffrey Lean in the independent UK newspaper, even though I certainly have no idea what's going on in the world because I'm so isolated. President Bush has brought the international treaty aimed at repairing the Earth's vital ozone layer close to breakdown, risking millions of cancers to benefit strawberry and tomato growers in the electorally critical state of Florida, The Independent can reveal. His administration is insisting on a sharp increase in spraying of the most dangerous ozone-destroying chemicals still in use, the pesticide methyl bromide, even though it's due to be phased out under the Montreal Protocol in little more than a year. And it's threatened that if the United States could withdraw from the treaty's provisions altogether if its demand is not met. Talks on the unprecedented demand broke down without agreement at the conference in Nairobi this month, as U.S. delegates refused to consider any compromise. They even rejected a European Union proposal that would have allowed farmers to use the same amount of the pesticide as at present, even though this itself would violate the spirit of the protocol. The crisis has come to a head at an especially embarrassing moment for Tony Blair, who last week played host to George Bush on the first-day visit by U.S. President. For 3 years, the Prime Minister has been quietly attempting to persuade him to stop trying to kill the Kyoto Protocol designed to combat global warming. But now Mr. Bush is trying to emasculate what the UN regards as the most successful international environmental agreement ever made. It also comes at a critical time for the ozone layer. Scientists had hoped that it would be beginning to heal by now, but this autumn the ozone hole over Antarctica was at near-record levels. Ironically, the Montreal Protocol agreed in 1987 was only brought about through the drive and commitment of the Reagan administration, in which George Bush Sr. served as vice president. It was rapidly agreed after the shock of the discovery of the ozone hole the size of the U.S. and findings that the layer had thinned worldwide. But don't confuse Bush Jr. with that, because it ain't good for business and it ain't good for the 2004 election in Florida. Okay? You got it? Good. Here's something that ain't too good. At least 17 U.S. troops have committed suicide in Iraq. Army seeks answers. And by the way, that's a lowball number. Rebecca Sewell wants answers, and not the ones the U.S. Army is giving her. Why does the Army keep calling the last letter her husband sent to her, the one he mailed from Iraq on June 15th, a suicide note? Can taking a bottle of Tylenol really kill you? And how did he get his hands on a bottle of Tylenol in the middle of the desert anyway? The questions may differ, but experts say the desperate search for answers and the denial are usually the same. Since April, the military says at least 17 Americans, 15 Army soldiers, and 2 Marines have taken their own lives in Iraq, but the true number is almost certainly higher. At least 24 non-combat deaths, some of them possible suicides, are under investigation according to an AP review of Army casualty reports. No one in the military is saying for the record that the suicide rate among forces in Iraq is alarming, but Lieutenant General Rick Sanchez, the top American military commander in Iraq, was concerned enough, according to the Army Surgeon General's office, to have ordered a 12-person mental health assessment team to Iraq to see what more can be done to prevent suicides and help troops better cope with anxiety and depression. And I'm sure that the butchering of those 2 American kids in Mosul this weekend, that should make them feel a lot better too, shouldn't it? That should really calm everybody down. Just pathetic. As Americans are being and others being butchered. Lives being sacrificed for nothing, and the public sits around wondering about what time the goddamn ball game is on. I'm telling you, man, it's tragic. It's pathetic. Where the hell are the voices? Where are people screaming from the rooftops? Are you people crazy or what? All based on a bunch of lies. I mean, of course, the fact that Arnold got 48% of the vote in California for governor, that should tell you what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with. The masses. Wasn't it George Rodriguez once said the masses are asses, Teddy? I think that's what he said. Call up Teddy Botswana and see if George really said that.
I'll ask right now.
Do you know what story, speaking of silly stuff, because obviously we don't want to become, if you become just obsessed with this stuff, you're going to go crazy. Oh, before I get to this about the Purple House, did you see that?
Purple House?
Yeah. You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, you're going to puke when you hear about this. But Time Magazine, you should get this week's issue.
Okay.
Because, well, no, you wouldn't like it. Oh, yeah, well, you might like it because it's got Bush's picture on the cover, and on one side he's got like lipstick from a big kiss, and on the other side he's got a black eye. And the headline is, Love Him, Hate Him, President. Americans adore Bush or loathe him, how we became a nation divided. And the essence of the article is that the country is more polarized than ever. It says if Reagan was the great communicator, Bush is proving to be the great polarizer. He has cleaved the nation into 2 tenaciously opposed camps, even more than his predecessors. He is the man about whom Americans feel little ambivalence. People tend to love him or hate him without any complicating shades of gray. It says, shout George Bush in a crowded theater and people dive into 2 trenches. A new Time CNN poll shows that Americans are almost equally divided in their support for President Bush, with 47% saying they're likely to vote for him and 48% saying they're not. For Bush, some of the signals are ominous. The poll shows his job approval rating now stands at 52%, down from his peak of 89% in October 2001, and his disapproval has reached a new high for his presidency of 43%, but those numbers don't reveal the intensity on both sides, the zeal of those who regard Bush as the very ideal of American presidential leadership, and those who regard him as an embarrassing and dangerous usurper. A dangerous usurper, that's an excellent term. Anyway, Time Magazine, get it this week. The one with the lipstick and the black eye on the cover.
I'll get it right now.
No, you won't.
Okay.
It's in English.
Como?
Anger over purple house may result in color code for Lauderdale homes. Now, see, if you go to the Sun Sentinel, this is the best.
Color code?
Well, it's because some wise guy decided to paint his house gold and purple. And you want to know why?
Why?
Well, I'll read you the story. Lauderhill, a bastion of something. You know anybody who lives in Lauderhill?
No.
The clock may soon run out on a purple and gold house whose summer paint job has upset neighbors, attracted the attention of city commissioners, and is the main reason every homeowner may have to conform to a color palette. City officials heard neighbors cry over the purple and gold hues and promptly set about drafting an ordinance that would restrict the colors residents can paint their homes. Should commissioners approve a new law tonight at City Hall, 7 o'clock, homeowners with homes not matching the city's color palette will have 3 years to repaint. 3 years to repaint. Oh, they're really getting tough on this. Those who can prove a financial hardship will be given 5 years to change the colors. So in other words, if you're in the hood with this purple and gold house, you've got 3, maybe 5 years to get rid of that ugly-ass house. As OJ would say about them ugly-ass Bruno Mali shoes, right?
Throw them away.
But when you take a look at the picture, there's a Sun Sentinel sitting around there somewhere in the local section. You won't believe it. City officials are still refining the color palette with the help of a consultant, but already know they don't want a combination of purple and gold. Violators of the paint ordinance may be fined, though the amount hasn't been determined. Homeowner Julius Ellington, I wonder if he's kin to Duke. Julius Ellington inadvertently created a stir when he painted his house in the 8500 block of Northwest 49th Street the colors of his college fraternity, Omega Psi Phi.
Sci-fi?
Sci-Fi. You can see more about it on the Sci-Fi channel. Ellington, 40, has declined requests for interviews. He also rejected the city's request over the summer that he find a different combination of shades for his home, Assistant City Manager Desiree Giles Smith said. Neighbors have declined to be quoted, but color expert Margaret Walsh was not so shy. I've been in the color business for 20 years, she said. I've never known of anyone painting a house athletic royal purple. She is director of the New York-based Color Association. Oh, this is the best. This ties right in with our poll today, you know. She is the director of the New York-based Color Association of the United States, which forecasts color trends in fashion and interior design. She says doing a house in purple is outrageous. Oh, man, so many organizations and so little freaking time.
Jeez.
The New York-based Color Association of the United States.
This is a bunch of hooey.
It is. In the meantime, members of Ellington's fraternity have rallied to his defense. Nobody should be able to tell you what color to paint your house, said William Council, 50, member of the graduate chapter of Omega Psi Phi in Charlotte, North Carolina. Of course, he's in North Carolina. He don't have to sit and look at that ugly-ass house every day. He says government should not be allowed to dictate what color a person can paint their house. My fraternity brother expresses his love for our fraternity loudly, and that's great. Say it loud, say it proud, and whatever your fraternity colors are, paint your house. Or like whatever. I went to Michigan State, green and white. What's wrong with that? They suck, but who cares?
How about an orange and green house?
That sounds excellent. A hurricane house, right?
There you go.
Dolphin house, aqua and whatever the hell other puce or whatever that stuff they were wearing last night. Boy. Now, what was the reason they were wearing those last night? Is there any special reason?
Marketing.
In other words, that like the third uniform?
That's the third one.
Like in the NHL?
Right.
They were ugly. 12:56 at 560 WQM. Hey, listen, if your mattress has got you feeling kind of ugly because you're not getting a good night's sleep, no mo, it's time to toss it out. In fact, you don't have to do anything with it because our friends from Dial Mattress will take away the crappy old smelly bedding, set up your brand new one for free, give you same-day delivery, unbeatable everyday prices, fantastic service, the likes of which you never heard of in your life. So why would anybody with a brain, underline that, with a brain, buy a mattress anyplace else? At Dial Mattress, no phony promises, no bait and switch, just a great selection, unbeatable prices on the best units in the world. They got a unit that you wouldn't believe, including now even Stearns & Foster. And you still get to pick the date and time for delivery when it's convenient for you, any day, 7 days a week. Just call 1-800-MATTRESS. You want them there 8 in the morning till 10 at night. You can choose. Noon to 2, 1 to 3, 2 to 4, 3 to 5. You got it? So here's the deal. Just make one easy call instead of schlepping around your bedding in department stores. You know that you can't beat the price, and you certainly can't beat this kind of service anywhere. Call 1-800-MATTRESS, 1-800-MATTRES. You'll be sleeping like a baby with a big smile on your puss as soon as the day that you call them. Or check them out online for more information at mattress.com.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
I'm Judge Roy Moore, and the next best thing to watching Ann Coulter spank Matt Drudge is the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
Squirt, squirt.
I am Charlie the Gay, I am Charlie the Gay, I am. I was married to Princess Di. She never even knew that I was bi, and now everyone knows Charlie. Charlie likes to give his willy to a man. To a man. I'm a gay old prince, I'm Charlie. You're gay. Charlie the Gay, I am. Second verse, just as perverse. I am Charlie the Gay, I am. Charlie the Gay, I am. I think men are really keen. That's why someday maybe I'll be queen. My boyfriend's name is Camilla. Camilla. I love her because she looks just like a man. Like a man. I'm a gay old prince, I'm Charlie. Yes. Charlie the Gay, I am. Q-U-E-E-N. Charlie, 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 Charlie the Gay, I am. Charlie the Gay, I am.
All right. 102 at 560. I'm looking at that house right now. Did you get a peek at it yet?
No, there's no paper.
Well, then go online, sunsentinel.com, okay? In fact, well, there won't be. I was going to say I'm sure there's a link to it on it, but not that I've been gone a week. George has got all his porno sites on there loaded up, names of drug dealers. Just go on sunsentinel.com. That's with a dash, sun-sentinel.com. Can you handle that?
I know how it is.
Yeah, I bet you do. And it's right on the main page there. I mean, it's like heavy duty. You'd think this is a big story, and quite frankly, it is, because I have ambivalent feelings about this. Now, if he just paints the garage gold like the rest of the house, I don't think it's too bad. But quite frankly, stop and think about this. Where did that ever start? And I know people will say, well, gee, if your house is in that neighborhood, it's going to decrease your property value. Who's going to want to live in a house in a neighborhood with houses like that? But you know something? Who cares? As long as your property is well, and he's got nice, there's a bush and another tree or a bush on the right side, and it looks like everything is neat and clean, right? As long as you maintain your property neat and you don't have like a pigsty there and a bunch of diaper wrappers out on the curb, it looks very neat to me, at least that picture. You got it?
It's not on the front page.
Will you stop playing bozo? Will you stop playing so dumb, Miguel? Let me go back again. Let me back up. Oh, God, this is brutal. Sunsentinel.com. Why won't this thing back up? There it is. It absolutely is. First, there's the picture. It says breaking news. What page are you on? Muhammad gets that. Right underneath it. It says anger over Purple House may result. You got it?
Yes.
Click on that. You click on that and you go to the story, and then on the right, it shows you the picture of the house with that car in front, that white car, and then you click on for larger.
Oh, that's not bad.
No. That's not, I mean, when you first read it, and I had seen it before, but I forgot about it. It was early this morning when I was reading this crap. But that's not, I've seen houses looking worse than that.
Hell
it's
yeah.
neat.
Much better than all green.
Why are people so, for example, I'm sure, any city of any size, you go through different neighborhoods and every house looks the same.
Right. That's the Florida way.
And in fact, no, not just in Florida, like in Buffalo, in Binghamton, almost anywhere you go. There are these neighborhoods where every house, because they're built by the same builder. So right. Generally speaking, I mean, it's like light pink or like brown, like real light brown, like, you know what I'm talking about, like pastel colors, very light, very, why? Whoever died and said, okay, this is what I'm, my legacy. Every house has to look like this. Why?
That lady in New York.
That bitch? You're probably right.
This house is perfectly fine.
From the New York, what was it again? The New York-based Color Association of the United States.
Maybe
I think it's a racial thing myself.
Maybe just the garage door.
I think it's a racial thing. It said it's a colored-based organization. What's wrong with that house? So suppose he wanted to make it pink with purple polka dots. Isn't that his business? Doesn't he own that property? See, this is what bothers me about this world, folks,
well,
among
the same
many
as
other
Coral
things.
Gables. You can't do that in Coral Gables.
You can't do anything in Coral Gables except call and make crank calls to this show. That's all you can do in the Gables. That's the only thing you're allowed to do. 5670560, pound 560 on the. It just pisses me off. Why don't we have more important things to worry about than whatever? If he feels good about it, it's his house. None of your goddamn business. If you don't like it, don't look at it. Horrible story, by the way, in town. 48-year-old man was killed after two people in the car apparently dragged a man to his death in Coconut Grove. But there's a little more to this story than meets the eye, I think. According to the Miami Police Department, Paul Saunders was standing on the sidewalk at 3841 Day Avenue when a light blue Saturn approached him. Police said Saunders got into an argument with the man and woman in the car, and the car sped away, dragging Saunders behind. Police say the car dragged him for nearly 3 blocks, first north on Day Avenue and then left on Brooker Street past Percival Street when the car drove close to a metal pole. Police say Saunders hit the metal pole and was knocked free of the car. Then police say the car sped away from the scene. Saunders is the uncle of Anthony Lee, who was arrested on November 13 for the murder of prominent Coconut Grove resident Jose Calvo. In that incident, Lee is suspected of trying to rob Calvo, who was in the car with his wife Denise and their 2-year-old son. Denise Calvo shot back at Lee and wounded him. Saunders is the uncle of Anthony Lee. You following this?
Correct.
Later, police learned that Denise Calvo knew Lee's mother, Vernica Saunders Lee, and that the Calvos were having a tough time financially despite their opulent lifestyle. And it goes on. It says police don't know if there's any connection between this incident and the Calvo murder at this time, but they're sure as hell they're taking a peek into it.
Smells like it.
Oh, speaking of that, what a good segue. Burger King adopts breastfeeding policy. I think if Brittany wanted to go there and breastfeed her newborn, which a lot of guys would like to be the father of, I think there'd be no problem with that. They'd be lined up from here all the way to Aliquippa. Salt Lake City. Burger King adopted a corporate policy Friday allowing women to breastfeed their babies in restaurants a day before a threatened nurse-in at the fast food chain facilities. Oh, man. They were going to have a nurse-in. Woo! Can you imagine that? I bet you can you even begin to imagine if they announced it ahead of time?
Come on, baby. Come play with these titties.
The new policy says Burger King welcomes mothers who wish to breastfeed their children. We want to be a family-friendly place, said Rob Doty, Vice President in Strategic Communications, Vice President for Strategic Communications for Miami-based Burger King. We want to be responsive to our customers. Didn't know this was a big issue. Unfortunately, in Utah, went directly to the press. We didn't have a chance to look at it and cover our ass. He said 20 states, including Utah, allow breastfeeding in public. You'd think more people would be living in Utah as a result of that, wouldn't you? But they're not. Just a bunch of Mormons. A furor erupted November 8th when a customer at a suburban Salt Lake City franchise complained about a woman breastfeeding her baby. An employee then allegedly asked the nursing mother, Catherine Geary, to either go to the bathroom to breastfeed or leave or get out. Get out of here, bitch. Under the new policy, employees are told, if a customer complains about a mother who's breastfeeding, kindly explain that the breastfeeding is permitted in the restaurant and suggest to that customer that he or she relocate to another section of the restaurant. That's all we asked them for, Geary said Friday. At least employees be aware how to handle a situation more discreetly. Plans for a nurse-in at Burger King's on Saturday have been circulated in unsigned emails sent to members of the La Leche League, an international group promoting breastfeeding. Doty said Burger King's new policy had been in the works and certainly wasn't time to defuse the threatened protest. Anybody believe that? No. We don't believe you, Mr. Doty, but nice try.
So how do you get tickets to this nurse-in?
How's that poll coming? Which of these well-known blacks are the biggest impediment to race relations, we asked. We got 521 votes. Louis Farrakhan's got 210, over 40% of them. Jesse Jackson, 124. Al Sharpton, 91. O.J. Simpson, 41. Deion Sanders, 33. Michael Jackson, 12. And Johnny Cochran got 10. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Happy Monday to you.
And a happy turkey.
Yeah, gobble gobble. Anyway, last week, you were reading the Al Franken book, and you said, I'm not reading that book anymore. But here's a comment on that.
No, I didn't say I wasn't reading the book anymore. I said I wasn't reading it on the air because that chapter on, what's his name, was so pathetic. It was awful, and I just got sucked into that by some caller.
It was me.
The chapter on Sean Hannity.
It was me that sucked you into that, and I was enjoying it.
Oh, jeez. Well, don't do that again. Get out of here. Now, see, what we have now, unfortunately, because these shows go through these evolutionary periods, we've got people that have their own agenda. Now, this guy, he called me already last week and got me into that. It was a very bad idea. And what you want to do is turn this into the Neil Reads Books on the Air show, which isn't going to happen, okay? Because one thing I do have, especially with George standing over my shoulder, and Teddy in Botswana back there with an AK-47, I have to be, cover my backside, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Rectum.
Right. But I mean, so this guy's calling again, and go out and buy the book, okay? It's on our recommended list on our website. That's the most I can do. I read 2 great chapters, the one on Bill O'Reilly and the one on Ed Pitch and Coder, and that was enough. That was enough. And he sucked me into reading one of the most boring things I've ever gotten involved in. It's got a lot of, and even if you take out the diagram and the charts and the numbers in it, even then it wasn't a good chapter. It didn't say much of anything. I mean, the book is good, and I'll finish reading the book, but it's not in the same league with Dude, Where's My Country or Stupid White Men by Michael Moore. I mean, Al Franken's funny, but then again, Michael Moore is funny, but I think he says a hell of a lot more and more meaningful stuff without, I could be wrong about that, but I don't think so.
No more.
But you see what I mean? And then we also had the guy that sounds like Carl, the black guy called before, which is a good guy, and he made some good points. But now we're developing a new set of chronic callers on his show who want to basically call back and say the same thing over and over and over again. We don't do that on this show. We don't play that game. It's awful. And the audience is sitting out there listening, and right away they hear the voice say, there's, so-and-so, fill in the blank. You know what I mean? There's Juan from Miami. Yeah, there's that idiot. And of course, people who don't know how to do a talk show, like somebody I know,
absolutely,
they put the same people on day after day, and the audience is just going into a coma. They're just diving for the dial because they don't want to hear those people. If those people were so interesting and so good, they'd have their own goddamn show. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Sure. God, just out of nowhere now, we've got a new group of chronic professionals, which I understand it's a holiday season. Did we have a lady call today? One?
No.
See, and I'm not doing that anymore because after doing that demographic survey over the weekend, in spite of these protestations, you've got so many women listening. No, we don't. Less than 10%. I would say 9% would be a generous. I think about 9%. That's not very good, is it?
Not for you, no.
It's lame. Weak. I mean, at IOD, we didn't have gigantic numbers, but we had about a 2 share in women, 2.5, whatever. At QAM, we don't even barely move the needle on the Richter scale because it's a sports station. It's an AM station, and I'm certainly a filthy old fag, which nobody wants to hear me talk. No respectable woman wants to hear that.
No.
So we don't have any women. And I'm not going to waste my time anymore bemoaning that fact or bitching about let's get some women callers because we don't have any women out there. They're all busy watching either Oprah reruns, she ain't on yet, or they're watching Jerry Springer or Jenny Jones or Judge Judy or some of that crap.
Rick Sanchez.
We're watching Rick. What time is he on? I thought he's on at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Well, they're getting ready to watch Lieutenant General Ricardo Sanchez. Have you seen his show?
I'm not home at 4.
And I'm not there, so I mean, guess what? It ain't on here. Oh, see, Neil, if you were here, you'd be watching Rick Sanchez.
See, you're out of touch.
No, I was not. In fact, the week I was there, did I watch Rick Sanchez?
No.
I don't watch Channel 7, period. There's nothing on Channel 7 that I want to see. It's not a network affiliate, number one. When they do put network crap on there, they put either CNN, which I can get it on CNN, or they put Fox. Am I going to watch Fox?
No.
No. Even on Passions, I don't want to watch Fox. He gets on my nerves. 113 at 560 WQAM. Hey, when it comes to having your carpets cleaned, you ought to be calling my good friends at Dry Concepts. And now with the holidays just about here, it's not too late to call and have your carpets looking just like brand new when those pain-in-the-ass company come in. Your relatives from out of town, whoever the hell you have coming, your house is going to look like you had brand new carpeting laid down by the time Dry Concepts get done, sucking that deep down dirt out of your carpeting with their exclusive patented dry cleaning method. Your carpets will be sparkling clean, vibrant in color. They'll soft to the touch. They'll smell lemony fresh. They're dry in a couple hours after they finish the job. You'll think a miracle was just performed on your floor. And you know something? It really was. They've been doing it right in my house for over 20 years. They're the #1 carpet cleaning company in the universe. So just in time for the holidays, call Dry Concepts. And when you do make the call, ask how you can save 15% on your next carpet cleaning, too. They give you a guaranteed price up front before they start doing a job. And also, they do a spectacular job on your oriental rugs, your drapery, your upholstery, all of these things. Here's the toll-free number to call, 1-800-248-5071. That's 1-800-248-5071. Just in time for the holidays, it's a great idea. Call our good friends at Dry Concepts or check them out on that wicked World Wide Web at dryconcepts.com.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
And get your gifts at Chicory Farms. Try our new cholesterol log or the delicious mystery meat that doubles as a sexual device. Or if you're looking for a bargain, try our fruit cake from last year. Guaranteed every bit as good as it ever was. And no one can resist the Chicory Farms Hunko cheese in the shape of Monica Lewinsky. Chicory Farms, the place to shop for people you don't really care about.
Isn't that a mistake? If it's in the shape of Monica Lewinsky, shouldn't it be called a hunk of crap? Shouldn't it?
Hunk of something.
119 at 560 WQM. I still say turkey sucks. Any food that you have to put something else on to make it taste good is not good. It's like vanilla ice cream.
We're going to put something on most foods.
No, listen to me. Vanilla ice cream, people use it like in a hot fudge sundae or a banana split, and they ladle all kinds of other stuff on it. By itself, anybody that would eat vanilla ice cream plain, it needs to be institutionalized immediately. There's something wrong with you.
Well,
now, even you'd agree with that.
Itself, yeah.
Huh?
Chocolate's better by itself, yeah.
Right.
Than vanilla.
Anything is better by itself than vanilla. If you go out and get Rocky Road or fish food or something like that, you don't have to, ladle a bunch of crap on it. Although, Nestle's turtle with some hot fudge and maraschino cherries on top, does that, and maybe some whipped cream, some Cool Whip, with a small diet drink.
Yeah. Diet, of course.
Oh, that's the way to go, baby. No, turkey has no taste to it. It's bland. That's why you have to ladle it out with gravy and put it in the middle of a whole bunch of other stuff. It's just got no taste. Delicious, but no taste.
That's why it's good for you.
No, it is not good for you. Turkey makes you tired. If it was so good for you, why would it make you tired?
Well, except for that one chemical it's got, yeah.
Right, it makes you tired. 545 votes on a poll today. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? Louis Farrakhan, 221. You know who we could have put on there, but it's ancient history, was J.J. Walker. What the hell's his name? J.J.
Yeah, J.J. That's good enough.
But we didn't do it. No, don't put him on there. It's good times, bad times. Farrakhan, 225. Jesse Jackson, 131. Al Sharpton, 96. O.J. Simpson, 42. Deion Sanders, 33. What is his name, J.J. Walker? Michael Jackson, 13, and Johnny Cochran, 11. Boy, you're so easy, man. See, when George is on, when you're filling in like today, I just keep talking. So when you say something, I don't pay any attention because I know it's going to have no significance whatsoever.
Well, that's true.
When George is on, I like humor him, and I pretend to be listening to what he's saying, so I like at least pause a little bit to give him a chance, although I'm positive it's not going to be too worthwhile. You're like this, though. Man gets spam rage over penis ad.
You call that a penis?
San Francisco, of course, where they have their penis obsessive in San Francisco. Call it spam rage. The Silicon Valley computer program has been arrested for threatening to torture and kill employees of the company he blames for bombarding his computer with web ads promising to enlarge his penis. Now, anybody out there who does email, who's got an email account, you know exactly what this guy's talking about, because I would say 9 out of every 10 junk ads you get on our junk mail is penis enlargement.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
And that's why I read them all. Well, see, when I get them, I thought, well, they must know their customer. But I come to find out everybody gets those, even guys who are hung. In one of the first prosecutions of its kind in the state that made road rage famous, Charles Brooker, 44, was arrested last Thursday and released on $75,000, look at this, they're doing it in pounds. This is in a Brit paper. $45,000 bond for making repeated threats to the staff of an unnamed Canadian company between May and July, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Northern California said Friday. Northern California. Brooker threatened to send a package full of he threatened to send a package full of anthrax spores to the company, to disable an employee with a bullet and torture him with a power drill and ice pick, and to hunt down and castrate the employees unless they removed him from their email list. Well, that should be one good way to do it. In a telephone interview with Reuters, Brooker acknowledged that he had behaved badly, but said his computer had been rendered almost unusable for about 2 months by a barrage of pop-up ads and emails. Here's what happened. I go to their website and start complaining to them. Would you please stop bothering me, he said. It just sort of escalated, and I sort of lost my cool at that point. Who could blame him? In fact, maybe he's got a big penis.
But he went to the website. Bad move.
Yeah, terrible move. Booker of Sunnyvale, California, now faces up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine with a preliminary hearing scheduled for next month. He said he didn't own any guns or have access to anthrax. Booker said the problem there's one we can cross off the list of suspects. Booker said the problem stemmed from a program he mistakenly downloaded from the internet that brought a continuous stream of advertising to his computer. Brooker identified the object of his rage as Albion Medical, which claims to produce the only reliable, medically approved penis enhancement. You know, with all the ads on there, you'd think everybody in America should be hung like John Holmes by now, wouldn't you?
You would think, but...
You'd think they'd be having to tie it to their leg with all these ads on there. The company's website doesn't provide any telephone numbers for contact, of course. In other cases, Internet vigilantes have bombarded spammers with both unsolicited email and regular mail and phone calls, launched attacks on spammers' computers, and posted spammers' personal information on the Internet. How do you like that? I'm tired of that crap. And, of course, the Congress is working on a measure about that whole thing. I think they signed it, didn't they? Friday?
I have no idea.
The anti-spam law. I think you're not allowed to eat spam on certain holidays. That's another thing. Why do people eat spam? Have you ever eaten spam?
Yeah.
And you like it?
No. I've eaten it. Doesn't mean I like it.
Oh, my God. It's like putting a big chunk of lard in your puss.
You ever been hungry and all you have is spam?
No. I've never bought spam in my life.
Oh, it's a good backup. Just in case.
It's a good backup?
Yeah,
it'll make you back up. It'll make you back up. Jesus, God almighty. So in fact, maybe I should recommend that to Ma for her BM problems.
J.J. Walker was his real name. James Evans Jr. was his TV name.
I know, Jay. That's why I said it. I was being facetious. What is J.J. Walker's name? I was being facetious because we're going to hook you up with Teddy Botswana from Miami, from Kendall.
Good guy. I have his address here.
Yeah, we're gonna send George down there with Fat Rich and beat you up with a baseball bat. How do you like that, Teddy? You silly person, Teddy from Botswana. Let's take a call or two. See, I like a show like this today. We don't have to put a lot of pressure on Josh, who's sitting in there changing his underwear because he's crapping in his pants. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
You see the sweat pouring down his forehead.
I don't want to smell it. And secondly, we intersperse a few calls here, and that's good. We had a couple of nuts. We had a few good calls. We got a couple of chronics now that we're developing. I want to nip that in the bud, including the guy with the Al Franken book. I'm sure you're a fine guy. Your intentions were good, but you killed my show last whatever day that was. Oh, man.
Knocked you off the air.
What?
It knocked you off the air.
It knocked me right off the air. The transmitter it's self-destructed.
It fell asleep.
Just like in Mission Impossible, it just shut itself off because it went into a coma from that awful chapter on Sean Hannity. I should have known anything about Sean Hannity would be boring to begin with. God. Another pompous ass. I wonder if anybody ever saw him in that goofball with the glasses on MSNBC. What the hell is his name? The one that's on at night that I'm always ripping. It's got the glasses that used to be a sports nerd on ESPN.
Dan Patrick?
No, not Dan Patrick. Does Dan Patrick wear glasses?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No, he does not.
Yes, he
Dan
does.
Patrick?
Oh, that guy, yeah. Keith Olbermann.
Keith Olbermann. Oh, God. Pompous, self-indulgent ass who talks down to the audience and is so intellectual with that deep voice, you know? What a piece of garbage. Now, are we doing this, because I know it says live on the log, which it's not, but are we doing this recorded, George, or not?
Well, that's if it's in the audio vault, if anything.
Well, we'll leave it up to Josh. We'll leave it in Josh's fine hands there.
Live and local. This is 560. The radio's all yours now. QAM.
Okay, this is the Siegfried and Dennis Miller audition. Let's begin.
Okay, Mr. Dennis Miller, here I am going to be giving you this magic wand.
Oh, hang on a second here. You're giving me a wand? Dr. Freud, pick up the white courtesy phone. Hey, nice outfit you got there, Siggy. Yeah, you look like Carson Kressley after he raided Evel Knievel's wardrobe. Hey, listen, Liberace. All right, this isn't going to work out, okay? In my mind, there hasn't been a decent twosome in Vegas since Louis Prima and Keely Smith, okay? I mean, I don't want to go off on a rant here, folks.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Miller. We'll let you know.
Okay, well, I'll leave you with the words of Archimedes. All right, look it up. Never hit on 16, okay?
Next!
I don't want to get Teddy Botswana down in Kendall all upset, but you notice how much faster the show went by today without George?
It was pretty fast.
Man, it's 1:30 already? I can't believe it. It went by like lightning, and we're having a pretty good time. We had a few calls, and
having a ball.
I love picking on George when he's out sick, and I don't know why. There's just something about him. I really don't know what it is.
You love picking on him.
I do. He's one of those people. He's like a picky. You know what I mean?
You're a bully.
No, I'm not a bully. I don't pick on you. I don't pick on Josh. Of course, he's only been there 2 days. But I like picking on George because he's just one of those people who was born to be picked on. Like Rick Riley, for example. You know, I would never pick on Suds because, you know. But Rick Riley is one of those people you really enjoy picking on, and the same with George. He's just an easy target, and deservedly so. Anyway, Miss Fudge is all breathless here, the Matt Fudge report. She's foaming at the mouth. On the eve of a Tom Brokaw moderated Democratic presidential debate last night, senior John Kerry advisors recklessly strategized over refreshments at the Hotel Fort Des Moines, believing they were out of earshot to anyone who would care. But as the caucus nears, even stripped Iowa cornstalks have ears. Oh, and Lieberman's upset because they're excluding him from the Iowa debate because he dilly-dallied around. And what he should understand, it's Iowa. No Jews allowed. Anyway, the campaign advisors spoke frankly at the hotel's bar last night about the state of the White House race and their frustrations of living in the shadow of Howard Dean.
All right.
All of Dean's money is coming from Republicans, one member of Kerry's kitchen cabinet told the group. Another advisor asked if that had been researched. No one had an answer. The staff said Kerry should and will use a motorcycle for campaigning more often. Oh, be good for that Hells Angels vote, you know what? The advisors discussed how Kerry should stop trying to defend his Iraq vote and develop how Kerry's the real anti-war protester, not Dean. The staffers talked about doing an ad where they would contrast Kerry's anti-war activism with Dean as a draft-dodging ski bum. The ad would feature vault clips of Kerry speaking at anti-war rallies and testifying on Capitol Hill against Dean's statements how he could have served in the military but decided not to. The Kerry staffers talked about the possibility of doing a documentary on the campaign like the one Spike Jones did with Gore. One frustrated operative said it would help with Kerry's aloof image problem. The advisors carelessly talked about how thick Kerry's accent used to be. Kerry did the thick accent when cameras were around to sound like JFK, laughed one senior staffer. And then Miss Fudge puts on here, in the spirit of the holiday season, the Fudge report will not reveal the names of those in attendance. Nice going, Miss Fudge.
So kind.
Wonder what kind of turkey he's eating for Thanksgiving. Oh, and speaking of booze, he also has this on there breathlessly from the New York Post. Democratic presidential wannabe General Wesley Clark said yesterday that Americans admire President Bush because of the way he overcame alcoholism and salvaged his marriage by sobering up. The blunt comments came from Clark on a seldom raised subject as he tried to explain his dismay with Bush's reelection strategy, which critics say exploits lingering 9/11 fears. Oh, yeah, that nice first ad there by the Republicans, of course, and the Democrats are screaming foul. They want that ad removed about, it's the same old crap. Democrats are unpatriotic. Anybody who doesn't support the Bushmeister and these fascists, unpatriotic. Same old crap. Clark says, I'm not running to bash George Bush. A lot of Americans really love him. They love what he represents, a man who's overcome adversity in his life from alcoholism and pulled his marriage back together and moved forward. Although Bush has always refused to discuss his years of excessive drinking, he occasionally refers to it as a dark chapter in his life. He cites First Lady Laura Bush, along with religion and the birth of his twin daughters, of course never drink, as factors that led him to swear off booze. But Bush's drinking is an almost never mentioned issue by his opponents, and Vice President Al Gore refused to make an issue during the 2000 election, unfortunately. Clark, speaking on CBS's Face the Nation, accused Bush of exploiting 9/11 with new political ads paid for by the Republican National Committee that highlight the president's anti-terror efforts. You're either with us or you're against us. You're either patriotic or you're a scumbag. That's what Miguel will tell you.
See.
Oh, I got a great article here I want to read by William Rivers Pitt. George W. Bush loves Michael Jackson. We'll get to that. Don't forget, speaking of Miguel, you can go out and see him because he actually does speak.
Sometimes.
He'll be in the QM van today, 5 to 7 at the Publix at 401 East Sheridan Street in Dania Beach. He invites you to come by and breastfeed your baby. You can spin a wheel for prizes and pick up your Best Deal merchandise, which our grand total is somewhere. Probably around 42 grand, wouldn't you say?
Almost there.
We'll get to 50. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. The Mad Dog.
All right.
Coming up at 2, just went nuts when Ricky jumped over over everybody. The end zone for the winning touchdown late in that game last night. And then, of course, it was kind of anticlimactic when the Redskins fumbled the kickoff. Wasn't that kind of disappointing?
It was fun to see that.
Yeah, if you're a Dolphin fan. But, I mean, even if, you want to see, like, a nice defensive stand, and drama right there. Oh, and the clock ran out because Spurrier failed to call timeout. Some bonehead move, That would have been more fun.
Well, he tried.
No, I'm not talking on that play. WQAM, hello.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am, a lady.
Wow.
Holy moly.
Oh, that's why I'm calling.
Well, we don't have any ladies.
Oh.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great.
The reason why the ladies are not calling is because we're running around preparing for Thanksgiving.
There's always some excuse. No, see, I did a poll on our website over the weekend, and they didn't have to call to do that or not be running around. There was just like 8% or 9% of the audience is female. Pretty weak.
we're out here, but, somebody's got to run the house, and,
Right.
We're listening to you.
Okay, thanks, sweetheart. Have a great holiday.
All right, you too.
Now, you would agree with me, by the way, before you go, that turkey is very bland.
Yeah. Well, I just picked up a honey baked ham, so.
All right, now we're talking.
Oh!
A lady with great taste. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
What?
Great test.
Oh, okay.
She has great taste. There are a lot of things that you want to say now because you're a pervert, and I would just remind you that the guy that used to do 8 to 10, who we liked a lot, but he ain't there no more. Follow what I'm saying? Huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just leave all your potty mouth comments. Leave those to George, okay? In fact, Teddy Botswana is probably going to write some one-liners for George. For when George... And by the way, Teddy and Kendall, George will be on all 4 hours all by himself on Friday. This Friday, day after Turkey Day. You can just kind of collapse in the corner, turn up your little transistor sister real loud, and enjoy the sounds of George, okay, who'll also be farting up a storm. If he's recovered by then. I'm serious. She got a honey-baked ham. A lot of people eat ham on Thanksgiving and Christmas as opposed to turkey, right?
Right.
In fact, even Jews who aren't Orthodox, who aren't in all that kosher crap, if they were smart, they'd go out and get him a nice honey-glazed ham. Hey, what's wrong with that? Sure as hell tastes better.
Grab my junior, honey.
Exactly. Glaze it. William Rivers Pitt. I guess maybe I'll do the break. No, this isn't that long. It's not long.
Story
he says,
life.
George W. Bush. Now, like I said, I better do the break.
We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
In Miami town at 560 WQAM. The Jessica Simpson.
Jessica, I'm home. What's for dinner?
Oh, hi, Homer. We're having chicken. Woohoo! Or is it tuna?
No.
I don't get it. I mean, the can says chicken. Woohoo! But it tastes like tuna.
The Jessica Simpsons. It's TV's first animated reality show with two-dimensional Homer and one-dimensional Jessica.
Oh, forget it. Let's just order some buffalo wings.
Ew, Homer. I don't eat buffalo.
Don't be silly, Jessica. Everybody knows buffalo wings are made from chicken.
Oh, like chicken of the sea?
No, the Jessica Simpsons. Because people this dumb could only be in cartoons. Right?
Right. 143 at 560. Senate advances major medical bill. Bad news. And I told that guy they'd ramrod it through, and I'm right. The Senate today voted down the possibility of a filibuster that could have blocked passage of a contentious bill to overhaul the nation's Medicare system and screw all the senior citizens. 60 votes were needed to end debate on the issue and avoid the filibuster threatened by some Democrats. At least 65 senators voted in favor of ending debate. A separate vote on whether to pass the bill is expected about 4 this afternoon. And like I said, when in doubt, they'll jam it out. They'll shove it through. Because the pharmaceutical companies and big business, they run the world now. And always will. Al Arabiya ordered a shutdown in Baghdad. You ever watch that? No. The Iraqi Governing Council ordered the Arab language TV network Al Arabiya to shut down its operation in Baghdad today, sending the Iraq Interior Minister to the network's headquarters to seize their uplink and transmission equipment until further notice. This is in response to their broadcasting the full Saddam Hussein audio tape released November 16 to brainwash the public. And they said, no, you're not going to do that again. And there was more violence today with an improvised explosive device and small arms attack on a convoy in the northern city of Mosul that wounded one American soldier. You notice how when soldiers are wounded, we just get wounded. In other words, it could be like,
a scratch.
A scratch. Could be like amputated leg. Could be like within an inch of his life. Stuff like that. But that's the last we ever hear about it. Dixie Chick singer sounds off on the war again.
Oh!
Let's hear it. You go, Natalie. Dixie Chick singer Natalie Main, whose criticism of President Bush last spring led to boycotts of the group's music, still has a lot to say about the war in Iraq. I think people were misled. I think people are fighting war they didn't know they were going to be fighting, Main said Friday, NBC's Today Show. And I think they were misled by people who should have been asking questions and weren't. The country stars faced criticism and even death threats after Main said she and her bandmates were ashamed that President Bush was from Texas. She made the remark in London shortly before the war began. Though Maines apologized for some of the phrasing of her remarks, some radio stations banned the group's music. The group also received death threats in the wake of Maines' comment. Isn't that great? Remember when we used to have free speech? Yeah. Used to being the operative word.
Long time ago.
Once upon a time. Used to be able to say what the hell you wanted. If they didn't like it, too bad. Just like freedom to paint your house purple and gold. I think it would be more attractive, more interesting, more bizarre, I grant you. Like if everybody in one neighborhood, how about if there was a community? I think this is a good idea for some developer.
Well,
Make a community of all kinds of like striped houses and, you know what I mean?
It's Art Deco-y.
Right, people with a little personality. And even then there would have to be standards. It could be like sloppy, you know. It could be just like a bunch of crap. But something artsy and colorful and more like that. Or not Michael Jackson again.
Backerman says Jackson's team is getting their ducks lined up for a counterattack to set the...
There are ducks involved in this? I didn't realize that.
It's an insurance company.
Oh, yeah. Aflac? Well, something that sounds like that anyway. So the kid is the one that was on that tape, which I think we all knew that all along, didn't we? We pretty much assumed that. Oh, speaking of Michael Jackson, William Rivers Pitt, who I love his stuff. We always put it on the website. He's managing editor of TruthOut.org, a New York Times and international best-selling author of 3 books. War on Iraq. It's got the thing. Anyway, he writes a number of explosions tore through the British consulate in Turkey today. This is written on Friday, killing scores of people. George W. Bush is in England, surrounded on all sides by enraged British citizens whose massive protests have required nearly every police officer in London to be put on the line of the defense. This is happening in a nation that's been, both in government and among the populace, one of the strongest allies America's ever known. There are a couple of wars happening in Iraq and Afghanistan, neither of which are going very well. A great many soldiers and civilians have died in the last year. Osama bin Laden is still on the loose, and after nearly 750 days, the American people still have been given no explanation for why 9/11 happened. It is 3:16 p.m. on Thursday afternoon as I write this. CNN has been covering with total exclusivity a parking lot outside a police station for the last hour. They covered an airplane landing. They covered the same airplane still sitting on the tarmac. They covered the airplane slowly moving into a hangar. All the while, talking head after talking head explored every conceivable facet of the parking lot, the plane, the tarmac, the hangar, as well as a variety of parallel issues. No stone of data was left unturned. Why? Michael Jackson is about to surrender to police. In the last 2 years, CNN has not devoted this much energy and coverage to any story in the manner that it's unfolding right now. Enron, the stock market, the reasons for September 11th, the nomination of Henry Kissinger to chair the investigation into that event, the disinformation that was pushed by the Bush administration before the attack on Iraq, the civilian casualties during the attack on Iraq, the American troop casualties during and after the attack on Iraq, the missing weapons of mass destruction, the missing Osama bin Laden, the war in Afghanistan that is far from over, the outing of a CIA agent by the Bush administration in an act of political revenge, and about 200 other explosive stories did not get the attention that Michael Jackson's getting now. One talking head just said, "I'm waiting for a white Bronco to pull up." The other talking heads laughed and kept on going. A detailed discussion progressed about the tail numbers on Michael Jackson's plane, along with questions about how all this will affect Jackson's fans. We're approaching the 2-hour mark in the coverage. For a while, we had the Petersons to obsess the mainstream television media. Then we had Kobe Bryant, and for a bit, both stories ran concurrently with breaking news announcements throughout daily coverage. Neither managed to seize national attention, and so periodically, CNN and the other networks were forced to mention that the fighting in Iraq is getting a lot of Americans killed, the promised weapons of mass destruction have not been found, and no one but Dick Cheney can say that Iraq was involved in 9/11 without looking like a total blithering idiot. And then, like a surgically enhanced cavalry charge, Michael Jackson blasted to the forefront to rescue the mainstream media from perhaps being required to cover matters of substance. The ability for these talking heads to natter on for weeks and weeks about Jackson, previous charges against him, his musical history, his personal oddities, his baby-dangling antics, and oh my goodness, what do we tell the children, is pretty much bottomless. But we will spend the next several weeks again racing to that bottom as quickly as TV signals can travel through a coaxial cable. A black Bronco just left the airplane hangar and is driving slowly to the police station. CNN is on it. CNN is all over it. One of the shots on my TV an hour ago showed a gaggle of reporters and cameras gathered outside the police station waiting for Jackson to arrive. The talking head working the microphone at that moment mistakenly called these people journalists. This is not journalism, and those people are not journalists. This is entertainment television passed off as news of import. This is more poison poured into our national discussion. This is the Grand Bull Moose gold medal winning distraction of all time. George W. Bush should send Michael Jackson flowers and a thank you note and send more flowers to CNN. The Republican Party effected an historic takeover of Congress in 1994 during a time when the only television coverage one could find focused on O.J. Simpson. The timing was exquisite. We're right back today to that marvelous chapter in American journalism history. TV news viewers who think they're getting the hard truth from the mainstream media just forgot Bush exists, forgot the hundreds of thousands of protesters who dogged his state visit to Britain, forgot the attacks in Iraq, forgot the dead soldiers, forgot 9/11, forgot everything except a mutant in a Bronco who lives in a place called Neverland. They just showed Jackson in handcuffs. The talking heads almost fainted. God bless America. What a great column by Williams River Pitt. I notice Miguel's not laughing. 150. I beg your pardon?
Mike was off.
151, yeah, sure was. At 560, W. Gilbert will do for you. At 560, WQM, the Mad Dog coming up at 2. Hey, what are you having this Thanksgiving? Why not let the #1 Asian buffet restaurant, Emerald Coast, do the cooking for you? They'll be featuring a traditional Thanksgiving feast with all the trimmings. They have locations in Sunrise, North Miami Beach, and their newest location in Pembroke Pines. Start your mouth-watering experience with 6 different soups. Sample dozens of succulent entrees, New York strip made to order at the Gourmet Center, a sizzling Asian grill featuring grilled shrimp scampi style, and the new seafood Saint Jacques. There's lots more. Try their Jonah stone crab or lobster thermidors on the weekends, hand-carved prime rib, plus their new Oriental chicken salad. And the Emerald Coast always promotes healthy living, too, cooking all of its fine cuisine with cholesterol-free oils, too. Never any MSG or cornstarch, no crab. The buffet features a full salad bar, sushi bar, fresh shrimp cocktail, and because you deserve it, Emerald Coast features a full dessert station featuring Belgian waffles, pies, cakes, pastries, ice cream with all your favorite toppings, and fresh fruit, the perfect ending to a gigantic feast. Emerald Coast, 3 locations for you in Sunrise, Pine Island, and 44th Street. They're on Collins Avenue, just north of 163rd in North Miami Beach, and at the intersection of Flamingo and Pembroke Roads in prestigious Pembroke Pines. So take the family or book your next business luncheon now at the Emerald Coast. All size parties welcome for you. And don't forget, let them put together a feast for you for Thanksgiving Day. Takeout and delivery available too. Call 954-572-3822. That's 954-572-3822 for the world famous Emerald Coast Chinese Buffet.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Gil Rogers.
Don't like all the heartburn. Dum, dum, dum. Every time I see dum, 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 dum. That retarded dimwit dum, dum, dum. On my TV. He's President Dumb. Republicans muscled in and inarticulate idiot. I don't know why they would want this guy, but now he's here. We're screwed the next 4 years. Yes. With President Dumb. Oh, what I'd give to count votes once more and get who we all voted for. Lips drumming, stupid key. Mindless, drunk, and rich kid. He's even dumber than me. He's President Dumb. You don't care what it took. You got him in by hook or crook. The Christian right knows what's best for you and I, but have no fear. We've got a great leader here with President Dumb. President Dumb.
156 at 560 WQ. How many votes we got on there? I'm trying to 599. The next vote will be number 600 in our poll today. Which of these well-known blacks is the biggest impediment to race relations? Louis Farrakhan, 248. Jesse Jackson, 142. Almost 2-1. Al Sharpton, 102. OJ, 44. Deion Sanders, Neon Dion, 36. Michael Jackson, 15. Johnny Cochran, Small Potatoes with 12. See, the thing with Farrakhan is he intersperses like some sensible stuff in his speeches. You know, he tells young black people to, work and get an education and do this and that. And then, of course, just like Hitler, he starts bringing in all the hate. So he mixes in a little bit of truth with a lot of bull crap and hate and distortion and that's it. That's what he's all about.
Messes the whole thing up.
Messes the whole thing up. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Well, all depending on what you think his message is really intended to do. Anyway, but let's look on the bright side. Today's the big day. I hope you change your phones. Did you change your cell phone service yet?
What?
Most U.S. cell phone users, boy, you are so out of touch. Even in Spanish, I think it's the same deal.
I have it on the TV, but it's on mute.
Most U.S. this isn't a news story. can now switch to a new wireless service without losing their telephone number under new regulations that raises the stakes in the already competitive wireless market. Under new rules which are taking effect today, customers may be quicker to dump their current provider for a rival service now that they can keep their current number. They can also disconnect the home phone and swap that number for a wireless service. See? So we don't have to be raped quite as bad by the phone companies no more.
What's the
This is
catch?
while great for consumers who until now had a hassle with updating friends and business associates to a number change. This ups the ante for mobile carriers. The 6 major U.S. wireless companies already vie aggressively for the nation's 152 million cell phone users. I got to be honest with you. I have a cell phone. I don't use it very much, and I can't stand people who do. If it's important stuff, if it's like, keeping in touch with the family at home, if it's keeping in touch with whatever's going on in your work, if you need it, if it's worthwhile, if it's meaningful, okay.
Emergency.
But when you're sitting in a nice restaurant, or wherever the hell you might be, and or you're at a ball game, a hockey game, and there are assholes on cell phones, I think that alone could be a book. Assholes on cell phones, don't you?
It'll be #1 seller.
Where the hell do you go where you can evade assholes and their phones are going off? I mean, like a doctor, somebody like a paramedic. Okay, most of those people have a belt. They have like a beeper, right? They have a 24-hour beeper, so they're always on call.
Mm-hmm.
And their beeper goes off, and then they go out into the lobby or wherever, and they make the call and find out what the emergency is. But why the hell do all these people have to have their cell phones glued to their rectum? It's not just an American thing. It's the same here in Canada. It's the same in Europe, no matter where you go. Everybody has got at least one cell phone glued to their rectum, and the antenna sticking out of their head like Martians. I don't get it. Why?
Keep in touch.
Touch this. Don't forget, speaking of that, Miguel might let you touch. He might let you have a little look.
No.
QM Van today, 5 to 7 at the Publix at 401 East Sheridan Street in Dania Beach. Spin the wheel for prizes, baby. Spin it. Just keep spinning it. Something will happen. And pick up your best deal merchandise, our CDs and those Mo Howard David. Anybody want a Mo Howard David keychain?
No.
Come on, get with it. Get in the spirit of it.
Take off those checkered pants.
Goes to a good cause. Got the Mad Dog coming up next. The Humper's off again today as usual. Kimba for this afternoon.
Bye.
Yeah.
The Neil Rogers Show on 560 WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Caught a lot of balls. Deep down inside.